Carlos, how the fuck are you? How's life going? Mason, hello. Oh, that's Poofy's look. How's the skateboarding mission going? How's all of that, Carlos? Kelly, welcome in. We'll get started in just a little bit, you guys. Share this out. We'll get some coaches in here. Mason, how are you? Ryan, welcome in. We'll get started in just a few, you guys. Tara! Hello, lovely. How the fuck are you? Tara! Hello, everything. Hi, how are you? Holly, hello, Holly. Welcome in, lovely. Holly. How is your guys' day? Walker, welcome in. Johnny, welcome in. Thank you for the hot me. Silent, welcome in. Addison, welcome in. Thank you for the heart me, Holly. Okay, but look, you guys, my friend made these. Look at how fucking cute these are. Tim, welcome in. Andrew, welcome in. Emmanuel, welcome in. Ryan, welcome in. John, welcome in. Mikey D, welcome in. Aren't they? My friend made them and I just bought them. I will take those, please. Thank you very much. Can you guys hear me better tonight? Out of curiosity. Is it better than normal or is it the same? Yeah, it is supposed to be better because I have this little damn mic thing. And I thought it was supposed to be better. I mean, I went through a lot of effort to put this on. Michelle! Michelle's in the house. Okay, well, at least there's a difference. We'll get started in just a minute. Which I'm sure is terrible for the drinking. How is everybody today? I haven't done it like that because then we can't see each other's chat. I was just going to bring you live in my box. And then people can see that you're still live. But if we go live together, we can't see the chat. Does that make sense? Unless something changed. Brandon, welcome in. Oh, Brandon. Brandon? Did I say that right? My bad. I'm sorry. I invited you, Michelle. Let's see. Yeah, I invited you. Andy, welcome in. Adam, welcome in. Thank you for the likes, y'all. Alfredo, welcome in. Source is here. What's up, Source? Auron will be on after Michelle, so stick around. He's in the chat right there. What you thought? Michelle, where are you at? Did she leave? I know. I'm not really used to the hair either. I'm like toying. I'm like, do I want to put the dread back in? Do I not?
I'm here.
Hi, lovely. How are you?
I'm doing so good. Sorry, I was just putting lip gloss on because I just was drinking.
Oh, that's okay. I did the same thing, but I did it live. I was just like, yeah, okay.
I love it. I love it. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited. I'm going to share out the
Hell yes. Perfect. And we're going to give it a few more minutes to build up the room, let all the peoples know that we're live. Sister Sirius, welcome in. How was your day, lovely?
It was amazing. I was doing a lot of work from home today, and then I decided to get a last minute coffee, but it's been a really amazing day. It's 6 p.m., almost 6 p.m. my time, so we're in a different time zone. And where did you think I lived?
I don't know. I don't even know where I thought you lived. Not so close to Disney World, but...
Yeah, it's been a while since I posted content for Disney, but
the real Alex, welcome
we go a lot. I'm super excited because today is the new moon, and I'm going to be doing a guided meditation for a part of my live, which I'm really excited about because it's the perfect timing for that.
And I'm in need of that today, so that's perfect. I'm like, Michelle will be here. Okay.
I know, you've been hosting a lot. Busy.
Yes. Right before this, I set my timer for 15 minutes. I laid on my yoga mat and I said, body, it is time for you to rest for just a few minutes and breathe. I have to remind my body when it's time to rest. My brain too. Sometimes.
Especially at night, because at night when the world shuts off, I'm just like all these downloads and ideas and what I want to do when you have a business, it's hard to turn that off.
That's me in the morning. 6 o'clock, I'm ready for bed, y'all. I'm like, I'm done. But I wake up early, so.
Okay, yeah, I'm not a morning person. But maybe that's because, we'll talk about that later, it could be part of my belief system that creates that reality.
Ooh.
Because that's how strong our beliefs are.
Indeed. Mm-hmm. And I do a lot of work around morning. Like, my ideal is 3 a.m. Like, that's my ideal. I could wake up.
Oh, wow, to wake up. That might be like ideal.
Oh, yeah. I'm just kidding. We're like, tag team, you're it.
It's funny how people are different depending on what feels good for them. I mean, a lot of it might have to
Mm-hmm.
do with what we believe, what we think we need to do. Because they do say more successful people are up early, but it's really where you have the most energy and.
And that goes along with this whole journey, doing whatever the fuck is best for you.
Exactly. And that's one thing I've been really working on is surrendering fully, jumping all in on me, trusting. Um, but it's part of the process, and that's what makes it so beautiful. And that's what the growth is all about is we never stop. We never get it done. We're always expanding and we're always growing and we're always uncovering and getting to know ourselves. So
100%. 100%. Okay, guys. We're going to take 3 deep breaths and then we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to show this out to my mom really fast. Make sure if she wants to come. I think she was playing Roblox with my son. So that's cute.
oh, that's nice that you have support.
My family is amazing. I'm very thankful. I almost shared it to you.
Have you
Wait,
always been in California?
Yes. Yes.
I've only been
we just
twice.
bought. Really?
I went to Disneyland and I went to San Diego and La Jolla.
I mean, those are good places to go in California if you're gonna come. So I live near San Francisco, and then right by Napa too. So we're by all the wineries and everything like that.
Oh, I kind of want to do my bachelorette there. If the wedding planning goes the way I want to for December. But I would love to do a bachelorette.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. In Napa. That just sounds so nice. I don't drink a lot, but I do like wine and it just sounds like that's where I want to be.
Oh my goodness. If you come here, let me know so at least I could steal a hug.
Yeah, definitely. And coffee. We can get coffee. Well, you're more of a tea person, right?
So I've switched back to coffee. I don't really want to talk about it.
Okay.
No.
It's like we don't talk about Bruno. We don't talk about coffee.
Yeah. No, I love coffee. I love tea. I love all the drinks. So, all right, guys, let's take 3 deep breaths and we're going to jump into it.
Wow. The power of breathing. Welcome in, everybody.
Seriously. I'm like, I'm ready for a nap now. My body's like, oh, that's what you needed. All right, guys, welcome to today. Today's so eventful. I'm so excited. We have amazing coaches. We've been having amazing coaches. If you're new here, hi, I'm Amber McCrae. I'm a connection coach. And today, right now, we have Michelle, who is a manifestation coach. She is an intuitive life coach. She is a powerful manifestation coach and the visionary behind Prosperity and Beyond, which that's how I knew her. Deeply aligned with the teachings of Abraham Hicks and Bob Proctor. Thank you. Michelle helps others master the law of attraction, shift their mindset, and reprogram limiting beliefs to create a life of true abundance. And you guys, I just have to say, if you check out her page, because she does not just talk. She literally walks the walk and she shares it. I absolutely love it. I love watching her content. Through channeled guided meditations, transformational workshops, and mindset coaching, she empowers people to tap into their infinite potential and manifest their desires with confidence. If you're ready to raise your vibration, yes, please. Align with your highest confidence. I already said that. Align with your highest self and step into the reality you've always dreamed of. Michelle is the guide you've been looking for. And so you guys, welcome. Help me welcome Michelle today.
I love it. Hello, welcome. My name is Michelle. As Amber said, I'm an intuitive life coach. I teach manifestation, law of attraction, creating your dream life. I'm going to start by telling a little bit about my journey first, which was in 2020. So I had a spiritual awakening in 2020. Anybody else here relate to the term spiritual awakening or has been on a spiritual awakening, is having an awareness of who they are every single day, personal development. So in 2020, it was a pivotal moment for the world, and same with me. It was actually the year I accomplished one of the biggest goals I've ever set out to accomplish, and it was receiving my master's degree as a speech language pathologist. And the pandemic hit. So I was going to grad school in Miami to study, become a speech therapist, and I knew I wanted to go back to Orlando and do my internship. So I moved back home with my parents. And I thought, well, this would be difficult because it's not where I want to be, but I'll just be so busy doing my internships that I'll be fine. But lo and behold, the pandemic hit, and I was doing an internship in the hospital, in inpatient rehab, and the whole world changed. And I was just about to finish my master's, I think, in that August. And I was with my family, the contrast, something I didn't want to be focused on. Not that I don't have a healthy relationship with my family, but it was a time where I was in my late 20s, and it's just not the place you want to be. You want to be independent. You want to be able to take care of yourself, and you don't want to feel like that little kid anymore. So during that time, I felt empty. I felt lost. I felt confused. I didn't know who I was because I never asked myself, who am I? I never asked myself what makes me happy. All I was programmed to do was have a goal, do the system to complete that goal, feel good enough because of the completion, and then ask myself, now what, and feel empty. I don't know if anyone else can relate to that, or if that's what we've been programmed, or that's what most of society really is fueled on, external validation, thinking that a master's degree makes me worthy, thinking that it's like I hit that goal and I felt like my world was like shattering, like I felt stuck because I never took time to slow down and ask myself, what makes me happy? What do I really want? If I could be, have, or do whatever I desire, which is a main question I ask myself now, what do I really want? And because when I was in grad school, I became a workaholic. I was working full-time job, going full-time in school, and I had a long-distance relationship. So I was driving back and forth every weekend. It's just a little bit of the contrast where you can see where I came from to where I'm at now. And that it was like the initial awakening process for me. I met a friend who could speak to spirit and speak to past loved ones. And I never knew that was true. I thought that was a little woo-woo. I said, okay. But for some reason, when she told me, I believed her. And I had so much of a belief in that. I went home and told my family because I wanted them to have hope and knowing that there's more than just this physical body. Even though I grew up Catholic and I always knew maybe, but for some reason, I really believed it. And because I went home and I told my family that, my sister awakened her gift, right? She's a psychic medium. She might have known at the time, but she was suppressing it or didn't have a full awareness of it. But her mediumship quality, or not quality, gift opened up because of the awareness. And she could see my grandfather in my parents' house in full body form. And I'm like, what? What's going on? And TikTok was like becoming huge. And the thing about TikTok, it's been a platform where people are authentic, sharing their truth. It was a whole different vibration of what I was not used to. And I found a psychic, and I've never dealt with a psychic before, ever, before 2020. So it was like a bold move for me. But I was searching, like, who am I? So I got a reading done, and the reading really just brought me back to healing. So my initial state of my spiritual awakening was looking inward, who am I, and healing, right? And that's pretty much what we're doing the rest of our life. By the way, once you have this awareness, you don't stop with those questions. However, it gets easier and easier and easier. And life gets better and better and better because you're creating with intention. So that's what I teach. I teach people, hey, Vic, hey, welcome in everybody. And I started to realize I'm more than this physical being. And that's really how spiritual awakenings happen. You realize you're more than this. And that's our superpower, is knowing there's a bigger picture, that we are so much more than just this physical reality that's in front of us. And we can create whatever reality we want in this reality, but there's so much more even outside of this human experience. So moving forward, I started to do the healing. I started to realize who I was, but I wasn't the happiest as a speech therapist, because before that, I was working in the field as an assistant. You're basically doing the same thing that I do as a speech therapist, except you're not doing the evaluation. So I was in the field for a very long time, so it was nothing new to me. And I knew that not that speech therapy wasn't for me. It was that Michelle gets to do whatever the fuck she wants. What is it? And empowering myself to ask that question. And we're not taught that, and if you were, you're blessed. And that's what we're going to be teaching our kids and the next generation. And is really coming from a place of, I can do whatever I desire, and what do I want? What do I want? Because that shifts as we shift, right? And that's what's beautiful, because we create, and there's always something new to create. So I went on the spiritual development journey. I did the healing, but I caught myself chasing. I said, if only I had the money, then I could be successful, then I could be free, then I could, be happy. If only. I hope, I wish. And I thought my escape mechanism of that reality I created, which was very systematic, very driven based on the fact that I have to do this to be successful, I have to do this to be enough, right? I caught myself chasing the money, right? I really wanted to get into real estate, which is really good to get into, by the way, but it's not the core of who you are. It's not the escape mechanism. Yes, because when you become wealthy, you want multiple streams of income, but the multiple streams of income is not the core of why you do what you do. It's from the heart, and real estate wasn't my heart. It was my idea that if I just make a lot of money, I can be free. And if I'm free, I can be happy. And if I'm happy, I have everything I need. And so I got really heavy into real estate, big time, studying it, all the podcasts, which I'm happy about because I can use that tool in the future. But I had to come back and focus more. No, Michelle, without lack, without limitation, what do you really want? Okay, because that's a whole different question than what do you want? Because when you're looking through the eyes of what do you want from a box perspective, right, a lack or limitation perspective, you can only create what you know, what you believe, and what you think you're worthy of. So that brought me to the journey of personal development, mindset, reprogramming the subconscious mind, manifestation. So in the beginning process of my spiritual awakening, I didn't know what manifestation meant, but I was manifesting things that I wasn't before. And the reason why is because I was doing the inner work. So we are manifesting no matter what, since you were born. It is a vibrational match to your frequency. Your frequency is based on your feeling. Your feeling is your internal guidance system. And the more you tap into who you are and reprogram the mind back to the truth of who you are, the more you create it on a natural level, because we're natural, habitual creatures of action from our belief system. So I got into manifestation, still was chasing though, because that's something we normalize chasing. That's what's programmed to the subconscious mind. And I know I'm kind of going all over the place, but what I'm trying to say is you're always manifesting. So when I was doing the healing work, when I was looking inward without even realizing what manifestation was, I started to manifest my fiance. I started to manifest the travel, the condo that we own, all before really understanding manifestation. Sometimes you'll manifest without even knowing how, because you're just doing the inner work, and the inner work is the manifestation. I just didn't know it at the time. And so we went to Hawaii, we went to Maui, we bought our condo, I bought my car. This is all within 2021. Yeah, that happened in 2021. I got engaged in Greece. And I was still in real estate like mindset during the time, still chasing and still manifesting. You still can do that. But the more you reprogram the mind to get into the state of reality of not chasing and attracting, you attract so much more on a natural level. And the thing is, during the process of manifesting, you have to give yourself a lot of grace and realize that all we have is right now. So no matter who's in this room, and this might be, this is on repeat. Everyone who listens to me hears this. All you have is right now. The past is in the past, and yes, this happened, and yes, this happened, but all we have is right now, and this is where our personal power lies. Your personal power is in the now. You are the creator of your reality here, right now. And your dominant thoughts, your vibration, creates your reality. If you believe you are worthy of multiple streams of income and you normalize multiple streams of income in your mind, you will start to see that reality, not where it's just magic and happens like that. You'll start to see opportunities you never saw before that were always there. You'll start to connect with people who have multiple streams of income. You will start to speak a different way. You will start to get downloads of multiple streams of income that are aligned, that bring in happiness, that bring in prosperity, because you become the prosperity with your dominating thoughts. So in 2021, I went to Hawaii, did all the traveling. The traveling came in with ease for some reason. My relationship with money, that's a whole nother thing. But the traveling, once I started traveling, more travel and more travel. And that's why you'll see like a lot of my page was all travel, because that's what I was manifesting. You know why? Because it fucking felt good. And every time I traveled, I connected with nature. I was grounding myself. I was connecting to a higher version of me, and I expected it. So whatever you're manifesting, you have to expect it, you have to know it, and you have to get excited about it. And that's all the things that I felt about traveling. I wanted to look it up. I wanted to see where I want to go. I want to look at the hotel. Even if it wasn't guaranteed, I found joy in looking it up and acting like the person I wanted to become without even understanding manifestation fully, like I do now. How many of you in this room know Abraham Hicks? So it was like not last year, the year before that, I went to one of her seminars, and she has changed my life. Same with Bob Proctor. That's why I mentioned both of them in my bio. Anybody? Yes, the law of attraction. Sorry if I'm not reading. I'm going on a tangent.
I'm watching the chat, so if there's important questions or anything, I'm going to jot them down so that you can focus. Perfect. And when there's a break, then I'll bring, yeah, for sure.
Yes. So Abraham Hicks, if you haven't heard of her, and what I'm saying really resonates with your soul, with your heart, look her up. She's an author. She's a channeler. She channels higher consciousness to help you come back home to who you are and help you manifest. But it's through the feminine energy. And that's why I really love her, because it's like the art of allowing, the art of surrendering, the art of just speaking in a way that resonates with the future you want to draw in. And it comes back to the knowing of how powerful you really, really are, that your words matter. And the most prominent thing that she taught me when I went to her workshop, and another thing I have on repeat, is what I feel is what I receive. And because your feeling is your internal guidance system. And when you're tapped in, tuned in, turned on, that's what she says, when you're in that frequency of a higher vibration, you're in the receiving mode. And vibration is just a fancy word of I feel good. And there's a scale. And as humans, we have to understand we don't go from 0 to 100. And because of that, we have to learn to give ourselves grace. Grace is so important in this journey called life. And it's all about the key word in manifestation and everyday practice, because you could know what I'm saying on a conscious level, but that means shit. Not in a strict, negative way, but it means shit because if we don't believe it, if we don't store it in the subconscious, if we don't act from it, if we don't embody it, it means nothing. Awareness of it is beautiful, right? But it's really practicing this every single day and normalizing your dream life. So many of us know what we want, But if it was there to be there tomorrow, we would be afraid. We would be afraid. Like, I want to be on stage. I want to speak. I would be afraid. So that means I need to normalize, visualize myself on stage in front of thousands of people and work on the qualities and normalize the qualities in which it takes to become that person, so that when I'm there, it's not like I have to like jump over the bridge to get there or force. I'm not leading with fear. I'm leading with knowing. There's a difference. Because so many of us have this calling and it's in our heart and it's in our soul and we just know. And a lot of us are not giving ourselves permission to surrender to it, to that inner voice, right? But the more we normalize our dream life, it becomes who we are and we don't have to surrender as much. We're surrendering, but we become it. And it all stems from being aware of how you feel. Feeling is your personal power. It's your internal guidance system. And the thing is, you could hear what I have to say today, but it takes the repetition over and over and over and over to become this new version of you. You could write down your dream life once. It's not going to draw in until you act upon it, until you believe it, until you know it. I could say, I want to create multiple streams of income. I just like to say that because I don't think it's normalized in our society. If not, people wouldn't be struggling the way they are. A lot of people think I have to trade my time for money and that's it. And that's the only way I can make money because that's what we were shown. That's what we were taught. And it was so difficult for me to surrender because I was holding on to the safety zone and the old paradigm. Paradigm is like your overall belief system that creates your reality now. That's been passed down by many generations. It's the accumulation of thoughts that create the belief system that forms you. And the way I teach manifestation is creating a new paradigm. That means creating new thoughts. It means normalizing new thoughts. And one thing that I speak about a lot on my channel and on my videos is normalizing prosperity, normalizing abundance, normalizing overflow. It's not normalized in our society. Because if I go out there and you hear people shopping, you hear, I can't afford it. That's too expensive. Is it on sale? And I always say, I'm always excited about a good sale. But what's normalized is not overflow. When we don't believe in overflow, we think there's not enough. If we don't think there's not enough, it's a reflection of how we feel about ourselves. And then we think there's competition when there's not. And then we end up being against each other when we need each other to grow. It's any potential you see outside of you is your potential. But do you feel it? And is that your dominating thought when you see what you want, right? If you see the car you want, that's your potential. If you see a multimillionaire, that's your potential. If you see someone happy and doing their life purpose, that's your potential. It doesn't mean we copy them. It means we're inspired by them. It means we know we can be, have, or do whatever we desire. And we have to stop comparing ourselves and thinking that we're less than because of what someone's manifested. If someone's a multimillionaire and they've done A, B, and C, they're not better than me and they're not better than you. And I've been talking about this because we put ourselves down, and it's not to put ourselves up in an egotistical way, but it's to see our potential in everything. See the love and light within with everything and to start creating more. And we are born to create. We're born to create our reality. And it's so much easier to create the reality when we know who we are, when we love ourselves, when we speak to ourselves in a certain way and tell a different story. Be careful of the way you speak. So many of us might have an experience. Let's say we go on a trip and it's amazing, but one terrible thing happened. So when you come back home, all you do is tell that story over and over and over and over again. And you're replaying that, but it's a vibration you're playing over and over again. And you're attracting more of that vibration when so many other amazing things happened. You can only focus on one thing at a time. The mind can't focus on multiple things. So what are you going to focus on? Whatever you focus on, you receive. You receive because that becomes the dominant vibration. And Let me see. Is there any questions? I'm fine. I'm getting the benefits from my manifesting now 2 years later. Yes. You know what's funny? We will manifest things we don't want anymore that we used to want. The old version of us, we've been all over that. And as we expand, our wants and what we desire changes because we get more clarity on who we are. And I'm also here to let you guys know, I channel as I speak, you guys. So that's another thing about me. The reason why I call myself an intuitive life coach is I channel my higher self. So when I do the guided meditation, I don't plan them. I connect to a higher consciousness and I relay the messages that need to be heard. Not in a psychic way where I'm telling the future, because it's just not my purpose. Everybody has psychic abilities. But it's because I'm here to channel prosperity consciousness. And as I do this for you, I do for me, the human version of me. And that's what's so beautiful about being in alignment. When you can serve others and it serves you. And then as you serve you, you show up more for others. That's alignment. It's this giving and receiving and giving and receiving. It's not this pulling and taking. I've been in job positions, especially as a speech therapist, where I just feel like everything is being taken out. Pull, 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 take, take, take. And I'm drained. And it's telling you're not a vibrational match, but we also don't need to push away things that don't serve us and blame the external, because all the power is really within. And if we really are the creator, we wouldn't be feeling like the external has power over us as well. So it's a little bit tricky where, yes, create boundaries to what doesn't feel right, but also know you hold the power, not the external thing. Like whether you don't like this person or your family member is annoying you or not talking to you or the job is draining you. It's not our job to blame, 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 because I'm the creator. And some people don't like to hear you're the creator, because if they don't like their reality, I wouldn't like to hear that. But if you do like your reality, you do want to hear that. But it's not about liking it or not. It's about realizing that you hold the power to create. If you don't feel that power, you're going to put yourself in the lack and limitation mode in life. And then you're only going to receive A, B, or C. You're going to receive what you've been receiving because nothing's changing. It has to change in the mind in order to change in the reality. Everything that has been created has started with a thought. Everything. Bob Proctor talks a lot about the Wright brothers and the airplane because it wasn't created before they did it. So think about back in the day, if an airplane has never been created ever, you might think this person's crazy. What is wrong with them? That doesn't make sense. What if they believed that? Would that have come to fruition? How did the airplane come into fruition? What dominating thoughts did the Wright brothers have to have in order for this to be manifested, to be created, when no one else believed in it? When it was, I think one of the parents was a pastor or something, I don't know. And he said, you're going to go to hell for thinking this, because this is literally crazy. We have to start thinking illogically. And sometimes the things we want, they have been in our reality. They've been in our reality and we still don't feel worthy of it. They thought about something that hasn't even been in reality. That's
huge.
Yeah.
And I just want to say, I just want to take a moment, and because that was a lot, I want to see if anybody has any questions. I know Kat said that she's been manifesting. Do we have time? Can we pause for a few minutes and just take a few questions and then still have time for the manifestation, right? Kat said, mine are working just on such a small scale. I can't seem to get it bigger.
Well, that's good. Well, my advice is to keep focusing on the evidence in which you are bringing in and let that build into a momentum. So, and also get specific on what manifestations that you want that are not coming in and what kind of relationship do you have to that vision. So if it's with money, maybe it's your relationship with money. And we have to reprogram a new belief about the way we view money. And you'll know that because when you look at your phone and you look at your bank account, how do you feel? So maybe you're able to manifest certain things, but then when it comes to money, there's a block. So then you have to realize, if it's these greater things, what's the belief system or the common belief that might be holding that back? And what belief would serve you in a way to draw it in? And that's through the repetition of thought to normalize that bigger goal. So I don't know what it is specifically, but I hope that helps.
Does anybody else have any questions? While you guys are putting your questions in the chat, I have one. Just what would be a simple way or something that you could tell somebody who's brand new to manifestation? How do they get into that?
Manifestation to me, to simplify it, is falling in love with yourself, is getting to know yourself. It's personal development. So the best thing you could do is
I don't think that that's what they wanted to hear. No, I'm just kidding.
I can tell more. I can tell more. But yeah, it's
No,
like
I'm just kidding.
getting to know yourself and studying who you really are. And then also manifestation, the law of vibration. So everything is an energy, everything is a frequency, and we become an energetic match based on how we feel. So when we feel good, our vibration goes high, and we become a vibrational match to the external things that match that. We don't, the power is not in the external, it's within. So it's the awareness and the feelings that allow things to come in. And the feelings are connected to dominating thoughts. Your thoughts create feelings. So that's really what sums it up when it comes, like, the most simplified way is what you feel is what you receive. So if you can really become aware of what you're feeling and then backtrack, redirect. So we don't have to control every single thought. When you're not feeling good, you're having negative thoughts. And when you're feeling good, you're having positive thoughts. Sorry.
No, you're good. I just want to make sure. I'm writing down the questions so you don't have to try to keep up. Holly said, when manifesting anything into fruition, should I be very specific with my words?
It depends. If you believe what you're asking for is here now, then be specific. If you do not believe, be more general. Because it's all about belief. And when you can believe the more general, like large sums of money are coming versus this exact amount, specifics will come more as you're at a higher vibration. So when you're feeling like shit, we don't want to have very specific manifestations because we're not an energetic match. So don't even, like, let's not go there. Be more general, raise the momentum, get into that momentum. And as you feel better, be specific, and then you draw it in and then you act upon it. Because we can't go 0 to 100, because if not, we're not going to believe it. Because if we believed it, it would be our reality. So moving in the direction of what feels better and then drawing it in. An example would be like when I'm manifesting money, I might feel triggered. But money's just really abundance, another word for abundance and overflow. So then I go into the world, I go outside and I look for, where do I see abundance and overflow? Trees, oxygen. It's easy for me to believe that. So I build that momentum, and as I feel better and I see abundance and I know what abundance feels like, I work on my relationship with money and draw that into that feeling.
Could you give, I mean, that was a good example. Could you either say that again or give a different example, like smaller, like bite size?
Yeah. So when I'm feeling triggered by money, but I want to be more prosperous, right? I'm going to be focusing on things that feel like I can feel the abundance of. So I look in my reality and I energetically feel, where do I feel abundance and believe it, right? I believe there's an abundance of trees. So I'm going to visualize that and I'm going to feel that. I'm going to acknowledge that. And that's going to be a dominating thought. And you can give gratitude for the abundance that you're seeing and acknowledging, because that becomes the vibration. It becomes what you're focusing on. Acknowledging the abundance of air and giving gratitude for it. So gratitude is another high vibrational thing. So when you can see the abundance, feel the abundance, and have gratitude for the abundance, you're a vibrational match. So when we can, because it's easy for us to feel an abundance of oxygen. When it comes to money, it's not easy. So that means we have to shift the paradigm by speaking new thoughts that support the abundance of money, to normalize that through repetition, then becomes stored in the subconscious. Because I could say I'm abundant, but if I don't believe it, it's not a vibrational match. I hope that helps. Did I simplify it more?
Yeah.
Or okay.
No, I mean, I think what you're saying is that what you feel towards money right now, if it's
Mhm.
not in a high vibration, go to something that is, say, that matches abundance. Like you said,
Mhm.
nature feels very abundant. And so I
Mhm.
take that feeling and then
Mhm.
I can begin to put it on money per se. Like as
Yeah. Well, it's easier because you're a higher vibration, so you're gonna feel better about whatever you think about when you're at that higher vibration. You're inviting that free feeling, that momentum, and then you're not gonna be as down when you think. You don't want to be down and be thinking about money if you already feel
oh,
down about
got you.
money.
Okay. So
So
basically you're
it's a
just
tool.
bringing yourself to a higher vibration.
Yes, and then you can see the polar. You can see the contrast of how you feel about real because that's how abundance really feels. You don't have to second guess oxygen, right? You just know. And with money, we might not just know. So then that means I have to create new dominating thoughts about money to normalize overflow, normalize money, visualize myself with a lot of money, um, speak to myself as somebody who has a lot of money in that way. The self talk, the dominating thoughts. Because a thought that reoccurs is a belief. And if I can get my belief to know that I'm abundant with money, and I know, then it's stored, and then I go act.
Got it.
I act a
Thank you.
different way when I believe I'm worthy of money, and money comes to me and flows to me in expected, unexpected ways. And I'm the creator of my reality, so I just start to normalize it the more I speak it.
Makes me want to play that money song.
Which one?
Tara asks, uh, money's coming. I don't know.
Oh, yeah,
I
money
can't.
coming to me, money flowing to
Yeah,
me.
that one. I was like, you don't ask me to sing. Tara said, what's the difference between manifestation and intention?
Manifestation is something that's on default mode. You're manifesting no matter what. And then intention is doing it on purpose. So setting goals with intention, writing it out, getting clear, um, putting yourself into the creative mode is the intention. But manifestation is natural, vibrational match, who we are. You've been manifesting since you were born. People who are receiving lack are manifesting, right? I think of lack, I don't think I can afford it, I receive that. So manifestation default mode basically is how I would describe it, and then intention is something you do on purpose, and it is that's the beautiful gift that we have that we can use intention to create our dream life. So, but you're always
I haven't
manifesting.
heard it put that way. That was awesome.
Neither have I. I go to intuitively because it's what I intuitively. That's how I intuitively feel.
I love that.
Yeah.
Lauren said, are there certain activities or exercises for uncovering and learning who we truly are? Yes.
Um,
We could talk about this for hours.
Yeah. My main thing in the beginning of my journey was romanticizing my life. So if you followed me like a year and a half ago, I still do this, but I was really marketing that because that's what I was doing for me. So acting like you're on vacation when you're at a coffee shop or romanticizing your life, falling in love with yourself, daily practices that tune you into a higher vibration. So there are going to be some that only resonate with you specifically, and then that resonate with the collective. So the collective practices would be grounding yourself in nature. That's for everyone. Meditation, because you're slowing down, feeling more peace and connecting to a higher consciousness and vibration. Feeling grateful, gratitude practices. So not just saying it, but feeling it. Visualization, visualization and imagination. We didn't really talk about that a lot today yet, but that's a higher faculty we have. It is a gift we have, and that is part of the manifestation journey. It's part of the gifts that we have, and we just don't realize that they're gifts. There's no coincidence that we can create our dream life with no lack of limitation in our mind. There's no limit in our mind. That's a gift, and that's how we create. So those are just some of the things. And then other things would be specific to you. What lights you up? What are you most passionate in the present moment? That's going to be putting you into a state of allowing and manifesting.
All right, we have two comments, and then I'm not sure how long the
I can make it as long as I need until 7, so we're fine.
Oh,
Because
we
it's
have an
guided.
hour because the next one is coming at 4.
Okay.
Um, Holly says, when I've been manifesting recently, I'm receiving certain colors in waves, blues, and greens mostly.
So I know colors have to do with chakras. I'm not like fully like I don't teach the chakras, but that's what's coming to
Blue is throat and green is heart.
yeah, that's what's coming to me intuitively because those come up in my meditations. So I would do some more studying, but that's nature. So maybe it's calling you to connect more with nature. That those are like because it was blues, greens. That's the you're seeing that as it could be a synchronicity too as well because you're doing one thing and you're seeing a pattern, which is a synchronicity, which means you're on the right track, which you always are.
And then Ryan says, I say I want customers to relate with my art.
The way we feel about other people judging us or not relating to us might be a deeper feeling of what we feel about ourselves. And it could be in a way we don't even realize, more in a subconscious way, or maybe what we've been hearing as a child. Like thinking about maybe that has to do with some more inner child healing, is what coming to me intuitively. I mean, take what resonates for you. Um, but really going back to that inner child of how did your parents or caretakers speak to you, and in which way do you want to speak to yourself now? Because the only thing that matters is about what you think about your art. And the more you fall in love with you and have confidence in your art, the more you're going to attract the people who see that gift in you. The more you see that gift in you. I'm not saying you don't, but we always have room to grow in that way of seeing that love and light and that in ourselves, and it will be reflected out. And you're right on track, and your art is beautiful. I don't have to see it, but because you're a beautiful person, I can already feel it. Like it's like
His art is fucking amazing. But yes.
yes. Go back to that inner child. Does that relate to him? I don't know. Does that
Yes, it
relate?
does. I
Mhm.
mean, I think it does.
Yeah. Because you might be believing things that you heard as a child, but in the subconscious. So maybe you're not saying my art sucks now or this or that, but maybe deep down in the subconscious, what you've heard over and over again is how you're perceiving yourself. And it's a reflection. But your art is needed. You are needed. Your gifts are needed. Your authenticity is needed. Don't stop.
That's
Ever.
motherfucking right, Ryan.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna leave room. I want time for your
Yeah. Also, the other
meditation.
message is
So
we're not for everybody. I'm not for everybody. You're not for everybody. You're for the people who are ready to experience your gift. You're meant to help people. Just wanted to put that out there too. Oh, it's Money Coming to Me by Karen Drucker and also sung by Eddie. Oh, yeah.
I think it was the one I think I was talking about was Able.
Yeah. Money coming to me, money flowing through me.
Yeah. I literally play that song every morning.
I want to
Not
figure out
gonna
how to
lie.
set my alarm to a song. I don't even know how to do that.
Oh, that's a great idea.
But thank you for all the support, everyone. Thank you for all the questions. I really appreciate it. Thank you for getting me in tune more to that higher. I love answering questions and seeing what comes through. It's so fun.
The floor is yours for
Okay. I'm just going to put some meditation music on.
yeah, you're good. I keep wanting
Well,
to say manifestation.
well,
Meditation.
there are manifestation meditations technically. I do personalized guided meditations. So what I do is I ask people what their dream life is. I ask them 4 questions and I create your dream life in present tense and help you visualize it, because the more you can visualize your dream life, the more you normalize it, and then I channel whatever else comes through. But the whole point of the meditations is to manifest, because we're raising our vibration. You're connecting to your higher self, you're releasing what's not serving you, and then you're able to have more downloads to listen to yourself to create your dream life, because you are the creator. Bam.
Bam. She's like, done. That's all you need.
And you guys can tell I'm really passionate about manifestation. I really am.
That's how we met.
Mm-hmm.
We met
Mm-hmm.
through basically
Yeah.
is through the Delulu group. So
The Lulu is
okay,
the
the floor's
solution.
yeah.
I'm gonna play 888 frequency because that's what I'm feeling. And then during the meditation, you guys can either sit down or lay down. And Amber, if you want to turn off your camera, you can. Whatever you feel comfortable with.
In the right weight, man.
Hold on one second. Can you hear the music? Okay. Okay. Take this moment to just be. Allow yourself to get into a very comfortable position, either sitting up or laying down. Start to focus on your breath. Breathe in through your nose and exhale through your mouth. The more you breathe, the more you feel peace. Give yourself permission to just be. Know that you are at the right place at the right time. And if any thoughts come through that do not serve you, imagine them floating away on a cloud. Breathe in through the nose and out through your mouth. You are safe. You are at home. You are connected to all that is. As you breathe, pay attention to what color you see behind your eyes. The more you focus on this color, the more relaxed you feel. You are raising your vibration, you're connecting to your soul, and you're tuning in to a higher vibration. The more you breathe, the more you feel at ease. Breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. As you breathe in, I want you to imagine a purple, glowing, healing, activating energy entering the third eye. And as you exhale, I want you to release what is no longer serving you. Any energy that you are carrying that is not yours is being released. Feel this energy leaving the body. Feel how freeing it is just to be in this love and light. The more you breathe, the more you have access to this purple, loving, activating energy. And the more you breathe, the more you release. You're feeling more and more relaxed, and you start to focus on your heart space. You can feel the beat of your heart. You can feel the stillness of the now. You are connected. Take a moment to just be, to feel. You are right on time. As you focus on the heart space, I want you to imagine a green, glowing light. And I want you to start to imagine, to visualize the things that you are grateful for the things you have manifested, for the blessings that have entered your life. The more you focus on what you are grateful for, the more this green light expands. This green light is infinite. It is who you are. It is love. Visualize and feel the things you are grateful for. I am so happy and grateful. I am so happy and grateful. Picture them with detail. See them as here. There is so much to be grateful for. Feel the gratitude. The more you feel grateful, the more you tune in. The more you feel grateful, the more you allow. You are right on time. Feel this green glowing light at the heart center, expanding further and further. It is fully encompassing your body, this love light energy. I am free. I am the creator of my reality. I am right on time. I am infinite. I love who I am. I accept myself for who I am. I am right on time. I am forever expanding. I love who I am. I am gifted. I am authentic. I have everything I need. I have everything it takes to create my dream life. I love me. If you're feeling any tension in the body, identify that tension without judgment and tune into this space. As you breathe, with each exhale, breathe out this tension. Allow this energy to leave the body. And the more you do this, the more you feel connected. Now I want you to start to visualize your dream life. I want you to visualize what your morning would look like. Picture yourself waking up. Where are you? Allow your intuition to guide you into this without lack, without limitation. Where are you? How do you feel? Where do you go? With no expectation, but just to feel your way into this reality. Envision your dream life, your dream morning, for you are the creator. Get excited, feel empowered. There is no pressure, and if you feel pressure, it is time to release that pressure and give yourself permission to create, to feel, to know. See the details. Feel the feeling. What news do you hear? Who are you spending time with? What does your bank account look like? Tune in. There is no lack. There is no limitation. It's time to get excited to create, excited to focus on what you want, excited to feel, excited to know this reality is yours. Focus on the details and what you want. What does it feel like? What does it smell like? What do you hear? There is no expectation, just allow. There's no limitation. For you are prosperous, for you are infinite, for you are tapping into infinite intelligence, infinite creation. For the mind does not have lack or limitation. You are connected to all that is. You feel the peace of the now. You feel the knowing of what you want, and you are excited for what is to come. Repeat after me in your mind's eye as we close this meditation. I am the creator of my reality. I am prosperity and beyond. I'm excited to create my dream life. I am the love. I am the prosperity. I am the abundance in which I seek. And so it is. And when you are ready, start to move your fingertips or any slow movements of the body. Ease your way into the present moment. Feel your personal power to create. Feel your personal power of the now. You have everything it takes. You are loved. You are supported. You are right on time. Wow, I feel very relaxed.
Yeah, that was amazing. That was beautiful.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, I got this overwhelming for me personally, just a confirmation because I've been working on a lot of this stuff myself, and it was just like confirmation you're doing that. It was so cool because I have manifested the morning that I want. And so it was like,
I got
oh
chills.
my God, that's so cool. So I was like, wait, I am doing that. So thank you, Michelle. Before you step down, please plug away. Say all the things, where they can find you, anything that you're offering, all the things.
Thank you for tuning in, everybody. So that's an example of the meditations I do. I do group meditations where I'll just plan a day and people can tune into that and whatever comes through for the collective. I'm also doing one-on-one private guided meditations where I record them, but they're specific to what you're manifesting. So what I'll do is I'll ask you I'll do what I just did in my own way, whatever comes through. But then I'll also create in the present tense what your dream life is and create that in a visualization. So it's very specific to what you're manifesting with details. Because the power of meditate, I know I'm saying manifestation. The power of meditation is really to bring you back to a state of peace, a higher vibration, connect to your internal power. And because we could talk about manifesting all day long, but implementing the tools is what allows you to create the reality. And when we speak at this high vibration, people can match it, which is beautiful through law of attraction. But implementing meditation is huge because we can use so many modalities like visualization, imagination, releasing, and just being in the state of peace. When we feel peace, we attract more peace. And at the end of the day, no matter what, that's all we ever wanted. We only want the external things to feel good. We want the house, the car, the business. It's because we just want to feel good. So let's tune in to feel good and receive more feeling good. But when we manifest the things we want, you know you're a vibrational match because it's a bonus. Because you already have that feeling and that's all you ever wanted. And then when this comes in, this comes in, this comes in, it's a bonus because I already feel good. So that's how you know if you're in the receiving mode. So I do meditations for the collective. I'll plan a day and I'll market that and people can join that. Those are like a lower price point, only $22.22. And then I do personalized guided meditations. I'm taking on one-on-one clients to work with for 4 weeks for manifestation. And I do workshops as well for groups, for collective. But I'm relaunching my podcast, Prosperity and Beyond. So that's my name. That was my original podcast, turned into affirmation. You heard me say it on the meditation because it's who I am and it's who I'm here to remind you of that it's who I am and it's who you are. That's what I'm trying to say. That's my main mission is for you to get at that vibration and to feel that and to become prosperity and beyond. I'm relaunching the podcast Prosperity and Beyond. I'm going to be coming out with a online digital course. I'm going to be doing a lot of different things. So just stay tuned and I post a lot. I'm going to be going live a lot because that's what I've been called to do. And I'm just so grateful to be here and meet like, now I'm losing because I'm so relaxed. It's hard for me to speak. Like-minded individuals that are on the track of just falling in love with themselves and, creating from within. That's what we need more in the world is this authenticity of just creating from within. So, my tension in my mid-back has been released, dissolved away. Thank you. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy to hear that. I felt that too because I'll lead myself intuitively. If people felt tension, you can breathe it out. So thank you for that clarification or that synchronicity.
I know. I was like, oh. It was funny because I was so in the moment and I was like, shit, I have to watch the screen because we have to do puzzles every once in a while on the damn lives. I woke up. I looked at the screen and there was a puzzle. I was like, oh shit. Look.
Oh, thank you so much, Holly.
Yes, can we get some love from Michelle up in here? Michelle, thank you. You're amazing. I appreciate you. And her information is in the Your Connection Academy directory as of now. So you could check that out as well and check out her page and all her things. She's amazing. Thank you, Michelle.
Oh, thanks for all the love. Thanks for the opportunity. And happy manifesting. That's what I love to say on every one of my videos. It's one of my things. Happy manifesting, everyone.
I love it. It's awesome. All right, Michelle, you have a good night. Thank you.
All right, bye. I don't know.
Auron, are you here? I got you.
Okay.
Auron, are you here? I was like, at first, when I first did this, I was like, an hour is going to be great. An hour will be, oh shit. Let's see. Okay. Hey.
What's going on?
Oh, wait. So you can't see my chat.
Oh, no.
You have to come back into the live and I'll hop you in a box.
Okay,
Yeah,
hold
yeah.
on, Marley. I'll be right back.
Okay. Okay. Yes, thank you everybody for the follow. Thank you guys for being here. All the newbies, welcome in. This is amazing space. I am just honored and blessed to be surrounded by so many fucking amazing humans. It's just awesome. And when Michelle was doing the manifestation or the meditation, the manifestation meditation, I almost felt like high. It was like, because there was like this surge of energy. I was like, oh shit. Thank you for the gifts, y'all. When we're waiting for Auron, this is the. Thank you guys.
There we go.
Hola, hola. Welcome in.
¿Qué pasó?
I love your art in the background, first of all.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I painted that last summer solstice, actually. Well, like that
Awesome.
week. It took me a few days, but yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, come on. You didn't do that in just one sitting?
No, no. I don't have the patience for that.
All right, we're going to hop right in so that we don't steal any of your time. You guys, this is Auron Stark. He is a sacred educator, holistic coach, and a unity conscious facilitator. So we're going to get, first of all, fucking thank you for being here. This is
Thank you
awesome.
for
I
having me.
appreciate
Thank
you.
you for everything that you're doing for the community and including me in it. I'm super honored and super excited to be on this journey with you.
Yes, 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 yes. And honestly, I just really wanted to be able to talk to you again because we haven't talked in a while.
It's been forever. What's up, Marley? Welcome in. Oh,
Okay, guys, I'm going to introduce Auron and then I'm going to give him the floor and he is going to take it away. Auron is a mentor, guide, and sacred practitioner dedicated to helping men break free from emotional blocks. Can we just pause there for a second? How fucking beautiful is that? I'm going to read that again. Dedicated to helping men break free from emotional blocks, reclaim their purpose, and step into their divine power. Yes, please, and thank you. Through a unique blend of ritual practices, elemental wisdom, and self mastery, he teaches men how to heal their mind, body, and soul, unlocking a path to strength, clarity, and deep spiritual connection. Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
that's the goal anyway.
Right?
So, so yeah, so I guess I didn't realize I was going to be monologuing. Um, but
We can have a
let's
conversation however you want to roll.
yeah. I mean, I'd rather do more off the cuff. I didn't if I thought I was going to
Cool,
be
cool.
monologuing, I would have like had something prepared. But you know,
No worries. I got you.
yeah, you know how we do.
Yes, 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 yes. So, we will leave it open for people who have questions also. Can you tell us a little bit, first of all, about what the fuck you actually do? Like, what does that look like?
So a couple of years ago, I developed an 8-week coaching program. I signed up with this company called High Impact Coaching. I bought my first house, the house I'm in now, and when I bought my house, I took a bunch of time off of work, and it's like I kind of tripped and fell into TikTok. My first account went viral, like literally within like the first 2 months I was on there, and the next thing I knew, I was co-hosting podcasts. I was doing, private counseling sessions. I've been I've been into spirituality in, every aspect you can imagine pretty much my whole life. I've been reading tarot cards since I was 13, 14 years old. Always been into studying other religions, spiritual practices. My grandmother, who's actually right over there on my ancestor altar, she got me into meditation at a very young age. And, it's just, I've always been involved in things that, people consider outside, society's box. And I'm 42 years old. It was a very different world when I was younger. My grandma got me into Reiki back when nobody knew what Reiki was, and people looked at you funny like you had two heads when you talked about energy healing. And now we live in a world where, they have Reiki practitioners in hospitals now. So, when I got onto TikTok and, all of a sudden I found myself, doing all this social media stuff, I joined up with High Impact Coaching, which is a great company that it's like an online university, and it helps you clarify and figure out like what, when you want to be in the coaching realm. And I hate that word, but there's really no other good word for it. But when you want to help people and that you have something to offer, but you're not really clear on what that looks like or how to go about that, that's what High Impact Coaching is for. And it was actually it was a very intense time in my life. When you go through the program, you do a lot of one-on-one work and group work with the guy who founded the company. And I was about maybe a month into the program, and he was telling a story about why he got into this work. And his best friend from his whole life, from like the time he was a little boy, ended up taking his life out of nowhere. And it kind of broke his reality, and he, left corporate world and went soul searching, and years later ended up, founding this company. And while I'm on this call and he's telling us this story and like everybody's sobbing and crying, I get a message that one of my best friends from art school had just taken his life. And it was a really like out of left field kind of whack to realize, how mistreated and emotionally unsupported men are, like in society. You spend your whole life with, man up, men don't cry, you don't talk about your feelings. And like, at the end of the day, people don't understand how much men go through and how they don't really have any outlets. You go back 50, 100 years, you go back to more tribal societies, you go to, you travel the world and go to other cultures. The men in these cultures have these things that they learn. They have these trials that they go through. They have these rituals, they have these practices, and we don't have any of that in Western society. And I've been on my own since I was 17. And so, that blessed me with the opportunity to, I never had anybody telling me what I could or couldn't do. So I was able to explore a lot of different things in my life when it comes to, my personal health, my physical health, my mental health. And there have been a lot of times in my life when I was in really dark places. Like, the dark night of the soul is something that you go through when you reach a point of evolution, in your life. You have to level up. And at the same time, you also have to let the former, part of yourself die. And there's nothing for that, like some people have religion, but organized religion is, kind of crappy and manipulative, right? And some people have family traditions or people that they know that can teach them stuff. But when I was younger and I first moved out to the West Coast, I lived in Vegas for about almost 9 years. I ended up getting into some really bad times and made some really horrible life choices. And when I came out of a 4-month stint in Vegas County Jail, I met this group of people that ended up bringing me into their spiritual community, which is a very large community in the Vegas and Southern California area called the Vegas Vortex. And I was introduced to all of these different, modalities and all these different traditions and practices. And it saved my life on more than one occasion. And, when I look back, like it's a horrible thing to think about, but like I've probably had 10 or 12 friends end their life, and people that I was close with, people that I knew really well, people that even with my intuitive abilities and my intelligence, didn't see, the things that were going on, didn't pick up, and that really kind of crushed me. And so when all this was going on, I decided that that's what I wanted to focus my coaching business on. I wanted to figure out a way to take all of the things that I've learned in my life from herbalism, physical fitness. Like I was a varsity athlete in high school and college. I became a certified herbalist back in 2011, 2012. I've been a Reiki master teacher for almost 20 years now. I'm a massage therapist. I'm certified in Thai yoga massage. And like anytime I came across something that benefited me, I did what I had to learn that. And now I wanted to create something where I could take all that information and practically give it to people so they could, because at the end of the day, you can, even if you've got a lot of friends and family, even if you've got a great support system, the reality of it is you're always alone. Like it's always just you in here, and some of the people that that I've lost over the years, they were surrounded by loving, happy family. They were surrounded by good people. They had everything going for them, and they still, chose to check out. And so I wanted to be able to create something that could share the things that I used to get me out of those dark times when I was completely alone, so that, other people don't have to go through that and don't have to end up at that juncture.
Yeah, thank you. And I love how many tools that you have. It's amazing.
You know,
So,
go ahead.
C asked about collaboration. Ryan said, go check out the link in his profile. And Auron will tell us where to find him and all of the good things. You guys post your questions in the chat and I'll write them down. So when we get breaks, we can.
I'm always down for collaboration. So to give you the list of all the things I do. So like I said, I'm a certified herbalist, herbal medicine, and I'm also a practicing alchemist, which a lot of people don't know, but in today's world, people think when you hear alchemist, they think of like the book, The Alchemist, and they think of spiritual alchemy and transmuting energy. But I'm actually a practicing alchemist. It's actually still a widely studied practice where you actually learn to, purify and transmute and change things. And that starts in the plant kingdom. So, not only do I have the herbal knowledge that has to do with like what the plants do and how to prepare the medicines, but there's also a very powerful and very important ritual aspect when you prepare these medicines. I incorporate that with meditation and ritual. Most people are surprisingly afraid of meditation and how, it's like everybody thinks that like they have the idea that meditation is like being a Buddhist monk and like having no thoughts. And there's actually, several different modalities of meditation, and I use a particular form, what I call alchemical meditation. It's a guided meditation that teaches you to maintain and pay attention and do mindfulness in your body by controlling your breath and synchronizing it with, what you're being guided to envision in your head. And once I've guided you through these meditations a couple times, it's now something that you know how to do. It's a part of your tool belt, So once you learn it, it becomes something that can benefit you, for the rest of your life, and that you can, share with other people. I'm also a Reiki practitioner and a Thai yoga massage therapist, which is, the energetic and etheric aspect along with the physical aspect of taking care of the body. And I also have a physical fitness aspect. So there's this, the program that I designed incorporates weekly rituals. It's an 8-week program. Each week has a different ritual and ritual meditation, different practice. There's a book that you have to read during that process to stimulate the mind and to get a deeper understanding of psychology. And then I incorporate all of that with clean eating and any herbal medicine that the client might need for their particular situation. And then when it's all said and done, they hopefully have at least a good baseline of everything that I spent 40 years figuring out.
That's amazing. It's the whole body, the whole person.
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean,
So
that's if you look at it, that's one of the big problems that we're at this, in society. People, I
don't
mean,
get me started.
yeah, I mean, what are you? You're a nutritional coach. Like, you probably know better than the rest, but it's like everything's toxic, everything's fake, everything's bad for you. And it's not just the food. I mean, it's, people don't realize, but what we consume is what we watch, what we listen to, and there's just so many layers to how intentionally toxic our world is. And that's another big part of, I think, the reason why so many men are in the place that they are. It's not just the lack of emotional support, it's not just the anxiety and the depression and the burdens, but it's also the malnutrition and the physical laziness and the not understanding and even knowing how to identify, let alone engage with whatever you're dealing with emotionally, and then how that impacts your body and your emotional state and your communication. It's everybody's a fucking mess. Myself included, right? Like, and it's like, I make it clear, like, I'm not coming. It's so I haven't, I developed my coaching program a couple of years ago, and I only just recently re-left the corporate world, and I'm getting back into it, because I just went through, the dark night of the soul. Like, I just went through one of the darkest times of my adult life, and I had to, and I see it as the universe giving me the opportunity to reacquaint myself and sharpen my tools, so to speak. But it was, it was a place that I had to go through. And then I realized, like, oh, I'm going through this because this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm supposed to be facilitating other people being able to get through this.
Yeah, I don't know about you, but I feel like so many people, coaches, and on that spiritual journey already, the last 2 years have just been like kicking us off the mountain back down. Like, here's some more information you need to get so you can help more
Yeah,
people. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
what would
It's
you
all,
say the biggest misconception about masculinity is?
ooh, that's a loaded question. What would I think the biggest misconception about masks? Well, I mean, let me rephrase that. It's very simple. The biggest misconception about masculinity is that it's toxic. There is absolutely not, what people don't understand, and this ties into cultural and social media bullshit, but there are toxic people, and then there are people who are in their divinity and their pure energy. If you are the things that being masculine is, right? Being a protector, being a provider, being a teacher, those things cannot be toxic. Like, if you are being toxic, then you are not masculine. You're not in your masculinity, right? And same thing with nobody wants to talk about toxic feminine. It's like there is no toxic feminine, because a woman who is in her femininity is loving and nurturing and supporting and encouraging, right? And if you're doing those things and you're being in your femininity, then you can't be those things and be toxic. So you're either in your masculinity, in your divinity, or you're fucking toxic. I think that's definitely the biggest misconception.
That's huge. Boom.
Yeah.
Mic drop. Ryan asked, when would you say the cycle is over?
I mean, what cycle? See, this is there's no such thing as it's never over. Like, there's this, if anybody here knows who Theo Vaughn is, right? He's this comedian and this podcast personality, and he's fucking hilarious, and there's all these sound bites out there from him.
He's
He's got
super
this,
authentic
I
too.
know, dude. So I'm not going to say it on here, but I I know Theo from a long time ago, and I have a story for you about that. When we
Alrighty then.
tomorrow, yeah, it's a
Okay.
hilarious story, and you will not be surprised. But so there's this one voiceover that he does where he's like, you know what you do when you're hanging out and you got life, and then all of a sudden there's bam, more life. Like, it doesn't ever stop. People think that there's a common misconception in our general perception. Time, not linear, right? Your evolution, not linear. Like, the journey that you're on, there's no people there. People want there to be a point A and a point B and a point C and a final destination. Like I'm on this race and I want to, it's not like that. It's a spiral, right? So like the journey that we're on is like, it's like if you're walking up a spiral staircase, right? And the things that we have to deal with, our traumas, our experiences, our losses, our griefs, our pain, our anger, all that stuff are like pillars that shoot up through that spiral, right? And let's say I'm right here on the spiral and I have this anger issue and I don't deal with it, right? But everything else in my life is going great. So I'm going to keep evolving and I'm evolving in all these other ways, right? But I haven't dealt with this one issue that's causing this one emotional or psychological problem. You're going to come back to that problem at the next upward part of the spiral. And it might be, like for prime example, a lot of my personal issues that I had to deal with in this past year, like had to do with like abandonment, had to do with like, issues with my parental figures, right? And those issues in this past year presented themselves through friends that are my age, people that I knew. It wasn't like, it's like if you don't deal with something over here, it's like you're going to find people in your life that bring those issues back to you. Same thing with your physical health, right? That's something that like I struggle with all the time. Like I'm a certified herbalist. I know how to eat good. Doesn't mean that I don't have a horrible dairy addiction and love me some fucking sugar and coffee, right? So it's not, when is the journey over or when is it completed? It's when do you accomplish the level and the stability that you want to be at? Like it's like I got really out of shape because of a bad injury a couple of years ago. And I've never been able to get back to where I want to get to. And it's like there's never, I don't look at the stuff like there's a destination. I just look at it as like, am I happy where I'm at right now? And if I'm not, I got to do something about it, and that's what it's about. It's about, not to get all Buddhist about it, but it's about the journey, right? Like you don't want the destination is the end. Like that's when it's over when it's over and you can't take it. So
I fucked up on the question. That was my bad. Ryan, that wasn't his complete. It was, I feel like I'm still in the end of the dark night. When would you say that cycle is over?
Oh,
so that question is different. My bad.
So my answer is still kind of the same. Dark nights of the soul come when, like I've probably had 4, maybe 5 dark nights of the soul in my life in 42 years. And the dark night of the soul comes when you're about to evolve, right? And you have to go through this. It's kind of like, not to be cliche and use the butterfly reference, right? But like a caterpillar, if you help it out of the chrysalis, it's going to die because the wings have to break through that bullshit cocoon in order to be strong enough for the butterfly to be able to fly and live its life, right? So that's what your dark night of the soul is. The dark night of the soul is when you have reached a point in your life where you've grown so much that you've outgrown your old life and the old version of who you are. And the old version of who you are is that chrysalis. And the dark night of the soul is you trying to get out. You'll know when you're out of it because you'll have relief. There won't be any stress. Like when you get to a place where when something goes wrong and you don't get upset about it, or when somebody says something that you disagree with but you don't get upset about it, like when you're finally in that space, that's when you're out of the dark night of the soul. Like, I'm in the last stages of coming out of, the cycle that I was just in. And it's like I still battle with this stuff every day. It's like I'll be, I was just having a conversation with my friend Marley, who's in the chat. We talk every day, multiple times a day. She's my bestie. And it's like, she pointed out to me, she's like, oh, you've been so productive this week. And all day today, all I did was work all day, right? And like all day today, in the back of my mind, I was beating myself up because yesterday I didn't get everything done that I wanted to do, and then I had some other like emotional, trigger stuff come up, and like I didn't deal with it in the way that I feel I should have dealt with it, right? And so then you realize that like when you hear that should and when you start judging yourself and arguing with it, you're dealing with your shadow. That's another huge part of what I do in my program, is that people don't understand what the shadow is, and the few people who understand it conceptually don't know how to engage with it and don't know why they need to. And it's there's different layers and different parts. Like when people talk about your inner child is a real it's a real being that exists within you. So is your angsty teenager self, right? So is the person you were before and after your divorce. Like every time you go through one of these evolutionary spaces and life changes, that old version of you is still inside you, and all of them make up your shadow. And if you don't engage and understand that you have the ability to communicate and educate the parts of yourself that are still traumatized, the parts of yourself that are still scared or still angry or still sad or still grieving, those pieces of you need to be integrated. Psychology will tell you, Freudian people and modern day psychology will tell you that you need to kill your ego, or you need to separate from your ego. And the reality of it is, your shadow has always been there to protect you, right? But because, again, and this ties into the whole reason about why I do what I do and why I approach it from a spiritual and a ritual place, it's like we should be taught about these things when we're children, and it should be, and as we grow and go through these phases of our lives, that education should continue, right? And none of us got any of that, so now it's crash course time. I hope that's not too pessimistic of a view. Like, it's never over.
No,
you know what I mean? Like, but it's also a hell of a fun ride. You know what I mean? Like, we're, I'm at this point in my life, like, despite all the suffering and all the bullshit and all the stress and all the anxiety, and like, this is the first time in my life where I've actually dealt with, depression and anxiety. Like, I've never been depressed in my life. I've never had anxiety in my life until, and I've lived all over the country. I've been homeless a couple times. Like, I've been, an alcoholic. I've been a drug user. Like, it's everything that you could imagine that I've been through, but I've never been depressed, and I've never had anxiety. And so, like, to deal with that stuff and to experience things that, like, I've helped countless, clients, friends, students through anxiety, through depression, but I never really understood it because I'd never really experienced it myself, and it's like, once I'm on the other side of this, it's like, that's an awesome fucking adventure. Like, it was horrible when I was in it, but once you get, like, one of my favorite cliche quotes is, you've survived 100% of your worst fucking days. And I can honestly say, like, I look back on my entire life and I could give you 10 different days that were my worst fucking days, and none of them even compare to what I'm going through now. You know what I mean? And when you start to remember that, when you're in that dark space and you're in that shitty hole and you're like, oh, remember your worst fucking day, right? Because it was way worse than whatever you're dealing with now. And if you can get through that when you were younger and less educated and less experienced than you are now, whatever you're going through now, all of a sudden it kind of diminishes a little.
That's huge. Does anybody have questions? Throw them in the chat. You got this chat on fire. They're like, yes, let's go, shadow. What would you say for a man feeling lost or disconnected? What's one simple practice he could start today?
Oh, I'm always going to default to breath work. So when we're talking about, everything I do is about teaching people to understand and integrate the connections between the mind, the body, and the soul. And your breath, right? So the body has two systems. There's your automatic system and your autonomic system. And so the automatic systems is like your heartbeat, right? Like, my heart's always going to beat. My brain's always going to produce electricity. I don't have to tell my body to do that stuff. My stomach is always going to digest stuff, right? But then there's the autonomic, which is I can choose to do whatever, like, everything that I can control. I have control of that, right? The breath is the one thing that exists in both of those worlds. Because if I'm not paying, I'm talking to you right now, I'm not thinking about breathing. But if I stop, I can choose to control my breath, right? And what that means is that your breath is the bridge between the autonomic and the automatic. It's the bridge between the spiritual and the physical. And people don't understand how powerful the breath is, right? So smokers is a prime example. I was a heavy smoker for most of my teens and 20s, some of my 30s. And people who smoke think that smoking is helps them when they're stressed, right? Like what is every stress smoker? Oh, I got to go out and have a cigarette, right? Cigarettes don't do anything except stimulate your body, right? It's nothing but fucking chemicals. And nicotine is a stimulant. So what's actually happening is you get stressed and then you remove yourself from that situation and you go and you stand by yourself and you take 20 slow, deep breaths in a row. Happens to be full of smoke, but the key thing that's helping control your body is the breath work. So any man out there and this applies to anybody. It's not just for for men, but since that's how the question was asked. The one thing you can always do is go somewhere and take 30 slow, deep breaths, right? In through your nose. In fact, let's all do a quick exercise right now, because this is the simplest breath pattern and it's one of the most powerful. Okay, so you breathe slowly in through your nose, and when you fill your lungs, fill them as full as you can, and then you're going to hold your breath for a count of 3. And then when you hit that 3, exhale slowly through your mouth. And then when your lungs are empty, hold them empty for a count of 3, and then repeat. And when you do that, you'll immediately feel how all of a sudden all this stuff starts happening in your body. So let's do it together. Ready? So slowly in through the nose. Hold 2, 3, exhale slowly through the mouth. All the way out. Push it all the way out. Now hold it empty. 2, 3, and then in through the nose as slow as you can. Pull and hold. 2, 3, slowly out through the mouth. And then push it all out. And then hold. 2, 3. And then just relax. What you're doing when you choose to take that control and you choose to breathe in deep, you're providing your body with more, like people don't realize how shallow we breathe all the time. You're providing your body with more oxygen than it's gotten at any point during the day, right? And you're also allowing, when you hold your breath for 3 seconds, you're allowing your body to uptake more oxygen. And then when you exhale and you hold it out, right, you're allowing your blood to get flooded with nitric oxide. Right? And then you breathe back in, and now your blood is full of nitric oxide, your muscles are being stimulated, you breathe in a bunch of deep air, and now that oxygen is getting to all your cells even faster. You do that 30 times, you won't even remember what you were stressed about. And when it comes, especially for men, because, so when men have emotional issues, right? Whatever it is, those of us who keep those emotions in, it gets compressed and it becomes anger, or it becomes tension. And when you internalize it, it messes with your cardiovascular system. It messes with your heart health. It messes with your blood pressure. All of these things can be stimulated, relaxed, and rejuvenated. 30 slow, deep breaths.
Holly said, would you consider that box breathing?
I'm not familiar with what box breathing, like I don't know that term. So I can't say, but possibly, probably.
I think box breathing is the 4 count.
But
it's the same.
You watch the thing and you do the, yeah, okay.
But so it's the same premise.
Because box breathing is, I believe it's a certain number in and a certain number out, and that it's constantly in and out. There's no holding.
I think it's 4 in, 4 hold, 4 out, 4 hold, or something like that.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure. Jordan said, would you say that lowers oxygen wow. Would you say the lower oxygen can cause more issues like health?
What do you mean the lower oxygen? You mean like when you're holding your breath it's a 3-second count. Most people hold their breath for that long when they get scared. You're increasing the oxygen and you're increasing the nitric oxide in your blood. But you're not by any means suffocating yourself.
Are you asking, Jordan, does it help lower or help lower health issues? Is that what you're asking?
You're
Oh,
stuck in
oh,
fight or
she said
flight.
yet.
What? Go ahead.
I think she was meaning that when you're stuck in fight or flight, you're not breathing normal. So
Hmm.
the breathing can help
Oh
bring
yeah.
better
Oh yeah.
health,
So
I think is what she was asking.
if you're experiencing anxiety, fight or flight, people tend to get to a place where, like when they're in a place of extreme grief, there's a hyperventilation reaction that happens. Any one of these any one of these stressor type situations. And even if you're depressed, right? Like even if you're not in a high stress environment, if you're super depressed and you're super sad, go outside and do that breathing exercise because it's going to increase your blood flow. It's going to stimulate your cardiovascular system. It's going to there's just I'm pretty sure it helps with dopamine production as well. But don't quote me on that. I don't need people yelling at me later
Well,
saying you said this, but yeah.
and like we talked about yesterday, when I think it was yesterday, fight or flight,
Oh, no,
you
no,
have
no, no.
cortisol
So hold on,
pumping.
hold on, hold on, Ayana. So O2 saturation. I was a severe asthmatic my whole life. Like I used to have to go to the hospital and get treatments because I couldn't breathe, and they put the little. You're talking about oxygen saturation. In order for the oxygen saturation in your blood to be lowered, you have to have airflow restricted for a significant amount of time, or you have to have a cardiovascular uptake issue that's like a lung capillary thing that's like a serious medical condition.
I think I did anybody else have questions that I missed? Let me know. Um,
Also, did I say
Hi
your name
Molly,
right? Is
welcome.
it Ayana? I just always like to make sure I'm pronouncing names properly. Sweet.
Nailed it. Um, ooh, if a man is hearing all of this right now
Hmm.
and thinking this is me, but I don't know where to start, how does he start? Like, besides the breathing, um,
Step number two, hands down, 110%. Um, cut out sugar and alcohol. I mean, alcohol is technically sugar. So, yeah, cutting out sugar from your diet is one of and believe me, I have a sweet tooth. I like to bake. I like candy. Like I like chocolate milk. I like sweet coffee. Like it's one of my big hardest things that I'm constantly battling with. But sugar is one of the number one causes of inflammation. It's also and I would actually, I would also say I would couple cutting out sugar and doing a parasite cleanse. One of the things that a lot of people, thankfully, social media has brought a lot of great clarity to and attention to the topic. But everybody in America is riddled with parasites, and what the parasites do is they eat your nutrients, so you're nutrient deficient, and then they literally, people don't understand, the chemicals in your brain are made in your belly, and if there's creatures living in your belly and they want sugar, they'll make you want a cookie. Trust, right? So you need to, and so they're stealing your nutrients. They're making you crave sugar and other things that they want that aren't good for you. And when they go to the bathroom, it's ammonia. And the two things that are the most inflammatory things that you can put in your body is ammonia and sugar. And when you realize that inflammation causes not only most issues that are physical issues, I mean, everything from, joint pain, muscle pain, headaches, all of these things are caused by inflammation and nutrient deficiency and overtoxicity. So if you cut sugar out of your diet for 30 days and during that same 30 days do just a simple basic parasite cleanse. Get some Paragard, get some charcoal, take it every day at the same time, like the bottle says, follow the instructions. If you want to get serious with it, I get my kits. I get Rogers Hood. I get her Parify kit a couple times a year. It's a pretty strict regimen, and it's a 30-day process. You can also get a bottle of soursop. Soursop is one of the most powerful bitter antiparasitics, and one bottle will last you more than 30 days. And you just take 2 teaspoons first thing in the morning. First couple days are rough, like do it on a day off because you'll be in the bathroom a lot. But once you eliminate the sugar and start kicking out the parasites, you'll immediately start to realize how much those 2 things affect your thought process, brain fog, logic function, creativity. All of these things are dimmed down and negatively affected by sugar and parasitic infection. And then once you start having that clarity of mind, you realize that like a lot of my emotions were, not my emotions. They were, connected to the things that sugar does physiologically in your body, and connected to what the parasites want you to put in your body. So, yeah. That's absolutely where I would start. And here's the other thing too, is there's, like the all of the things that I've learned in my life and all the things that I do and that I teach, it's a lot, right? It's like my program's an 8-week program, for a reason. And like, there's a lot of, it's not like, it's not like a course you buy and you do it yourself on an autumn. It's like, we're communicating nonstop and we're doing things together every day because there's so much to do, and there you need to have support and accountability. But when you're just starting on your own and you're doing it by yourself, you don't want to freak yourself out because there's so much to do, and you need to be able to do these. If you can't go 30 days without sugar, and you can't go 30 days, being regimented and doing a parasite cleanse, then you're not ready to be responsible for doing, 8 weeks of physical fitness, 8 weeks of meditation and ritual and all this other stuff. You've got one of the big things, and this is something that I struggle with because I've been so physically fit in my life. And then I've also been like super fat and unhealthy in my life. I've been doing this my whole life. And every time that I, am trying to get back into being healthy, I get really upset with myself because in my mind, I'm still that 20-year-old kid who can, bench 200 pounds, no problem. I'm still that 30-something dude who was putting up 600 pounds with my legs, right? And so I'll go to do what was originally a simple workout. I used to pump out 100 push-ups in 15 minutes. Now I'm like struggling to do sets of 25, fuck my life. But you have to allow yourself to recognize where you're starting. And my big, you'll hear me say it all the time, fucking baby steps. Baby steps. You got to commit to doing this for 5 days. Fasting is another really simple thing that you can do to change your life, right? But you can't there's so many times in my life where I tried to do a 5-day fast, or I tried to do a 7-day fast, and I couldn't get past day 2 because I didn't do 18-hour intermittent fasting for a whole week. I didn't, it's like you don't go and just run a marathon, right? You got to train a little bit. You got to recognize, be like, okay, this is where I'm at. This is where I want to be. What's the first, thing that I know that I can commit to and accomplish? I'm going to do that. And then when I get there, then I'm going to look at what the next step is. When I can do something for 5 days, then I'm going to do it for 7. Then I'm going to do it for 10. Then I'm going to do it for 15, And that applies to everything from physical fitness to dieting to meditation to education. I beat myself up because when I was in school, when I was in college, like I learned, and I would sit, I would get all this information and it would be easy and flawless. But when I was in college, that's all you fucking do. You're in school 24 hours a day. You know what I mean? Like you're at so it's like I beat myself up when I want to read that book or I want to do this, but I don't. It's like, oh, read a couple of chapters. Commit to writing 2 pages in your journal. Commit to writing 5 things that you're grateful for. Don't think that you've got to do A, B, C, D, and E all right now and every day in order to have success, in order to accomplish getting to where you want to be. It's all about those baby steps.
Fuck yeah, it is. Frosty asked, what was the product? And Marley said the product is
Sour
Miss
sop.
Rogers.
So there's soursop bitters, and then if you go to rogershood.com, Kim Rogers, look up her name, Kim Rogers, and the Worm Queen here on TikTok. She's amazing. I met her a couple of years ago. We were both co-hosting the same podcast. And you can check out her whole journey, but she pretty much had a really bad parasite infection with her and her husband, and she healed herself naturally with herbal medicine that she made herself and turned it into an amazing holistic global empire. And she has super high quality products. I've been using them for years. And she also has like a free cookbook that you can download that will tell you all the foods you can and can't have while you're doing the parasite cleanse. There's a huge online Facebook group with countless support. It's a fantastic company. If you use when you check out with any of her products, if you use source code, which is one of my many banned TikTok accounts, source code as a discount code when you check out, you'll get a discount.
Sweet. Tara said, would eating the fruit have the same benefits for soursop?
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. Here's the thing. I'm gonna be honest. That shit is disgusting. It is not. Like, it might be called. Everything that comes from a plant that it's a fruit. Yeah, but no. I can't. It blows my mind that people physically eat that shit of their own free will. It's bitter. That's what I mean. Do you know what wormwood smells like? Do you know what black walnut smells like? These things are not delicious. It's that's why the parasites die. It's killing creatures in your body. It doesn't taste like candy.
I love the authenticity.
In fact, go ahead. You go right ahead. If you got soursop in your grocery store, Godspeed, girl. Don't get mad at me when it's the worst thing you ever
Now I have to try it. My rebellious side is now I need to see
the bitters, the liquid that I get is palatable, but I could take it, but the real fruit, it's straight out of the horse's. No.
Frosty asked, do you have to take it for a month? With most products?
Get used to it. Oh no. Crazy lady's a friend of mine in real life. We grew up together.
Awesome. Welcome in.
She says you get used to it, and I'm like, I'm sure you do, but I'm not gonna. I'll get used to the liquid.
Frosty asked, do you have to take it for a month, with most products?
Yeah, so whenever you're doing anything to deal with parasites, you always want to do 30 days, and you always want to start it on the full moon, right? So when the moon is full, they're awake and alive and happiest, right? And what happens is when you start taking this stuff, right? It's not when I say we're all infected, it's everything, right? And if you've never done a parasite cleanse, they've been in there your whole life. So you have to, the first few days, probably the first week, is you're going to be killing everything that's in there. But they know that they're dying because it's poison, and they lay eggs, right? So you have to kill all the living ones, and then you have to keep taking it. And I think it's a 14 to 20 day cycle. So in the first 5 to 7 days, they die, but they all laid eggs, and those eggs are going to hatch at some point within the next 14 to 20 days. And on top of that, parasites are everywhere, especially if you have pets. I have dogs. My dogs are in my face. They sleep in my bed with me. You have to take it the whole time, because you're constantly, if you're a gardener, if you're an outside person, if you're in nature, you're touching the ground, you're touching your face, so you want to take it, so you make sure that anything that does get in there is killed on contact. And then once the babies hatch, they'll die out again, and it's something you're supposed to do at least twice a year. I do it 4 times a year. I do a parasite cleanse every 3 months. And I'll tell you what, the first time I did it, the difference in, I mean, my face, right? Like the people don't realize, like, dark circles under your eyes is a big sign. People are like, oh, it's because you're tired. No, it's because you're being deprived of essential nutrients, right? And like, that's where that dark circles come from. That, puffiness in your face and all this stuff. When you get, you're not getting movement in your lymphatic system. It's like, that means that the toxins that are in your body aren't being flushed out. And these are all things that, like, you kind of have to do in conjunction just to get your body to where it should be for like a low level base. Like, people don't realize, but most people are operating in the negative. You're not getting the nutrients that you need. You're not getting the sleep that you need. You're not letting go of the stuff that you need to let go of, right? So you're not getting what you need, and then you're holding on to shit that you don't need. We're all the things that I teach people to do, is just to help get us to where we like zero
Baseline.
And then if you
and
then it gets better.
Another thing about the parasites, just from my experience, I don't know about yours, they're aggressive. It's not, so it can feel like you're at war with your body, and you might actually not understand what's happening because they feed off sugar, and it literally, it is a battle, literally, because they are like screaming, feed me, feed me.
It's the emotional thing, right? So like the, like Candida, right? Candida is a perfect example.
I was just about to say that.
Right, because Candida literally thrives on sugar. And what Candida will do is so your vagus nerve goes from your stomach up to your brain. And that's where you're like serotonin, which is like your happy, drug, dopamine, which is a happy drug. They're produced in the gut, and then they're sent up to the brain via the vagus nerve, right? So these little guys will be like, we need more sugar because we're going to expand our empire. And they give you these signals that make you crave something. I used to wake up, right? Before I went to herbal school, before I knew about, all this stuff, I would wake up. There was like such a long period of I'd wake up in the middle of the night, and I lived in a town that's like up in the mountains from where I'm at now. And I would literally wake up at 1:00 in the morning almost every night. And if I didn't have candy in the house, I would drive 30 minutes to the only open gas station in the middle of the night to get a bunch of candy. And I'd eat half of it on the way home, and then I'd eat the other half of it when I got there. Like, I mean, and we're talking like just complete zombie, like driving in the middle of the night to go get fucking no. Yeah, they're evil. And then on top of that, they also have the ability to trigger other emotions. And then when you start killing them and your body is now flooded with ammonia, right, you're going to feel like shit. Like there's like it's called the die-off, right? Because they flood your body with ammonia. You get headaches. You shit your fucking brains out. You get fucking stomach aches. You're exhausted. Like the first couple days of a parasite cleanse is not a good time. And if you're not taking charcoal to absorb all those toxins, you're going to be feeling bad. And then on top of it, there's all of this emotional stuff that comes up.
Yeah, we could talk about this for hours, because with the die-off, you need to make sure that you're consuming fiber to get rid of it, to flush it out.
Yeah, and also charcoal is so important. Yeah.
Okay, we're running out of time. We got the next coach coming up. Amazing. We fucking love you, Auron. Say all the things. Tell everybody where they can find you, all of that.
Okay, so Linktree in my profile has everything. I'm more on Instagram than I am on TikTok right now. There's this new company that just opened up called the Mayhem Market. It's like an Etsy company that is just for creators. I sell a bunch of my spiritual products there. There's a link to my calendar or my Calendly. If anybody's interested in my coaching program, or if anybody's interested in any of my services, go on my Calendly and book a free consultation. Pick a day and a time. I'm available from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. 7 days a week. We jump on a call anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour. We can talk about where you're at and what you're going through and what you're interested in. I do tarot card readings, herbal consultation. I teach private classes on a whole bunch of different stuff. And just don't hesitate to reach out with any questions. I'm always available.
Awesome. One last question.
Yeah.
Frosty says, what is a good amount of charcoal daily? How often? That's with the parasite cleanse. Yeah.
So I just have little, like I buy a big bag of organic charcoal, and then I get the little like veggie gel caps, and I just fill them, like I just fill them all the way. And I usually if I'm doing a parasite cleanse, I'll take two or three. I'll take two in the morning and then another one maybe like throughout the day. And if you're just doing it to like start detoxing and binding stuff out, I mean, I would just do one capsule, first thing in the morning and last thing at night for like a week. Don't get scared when your poop's different colors.
Would you, what's the difference? What would you recommend bentonite clay over charcoal?
I haven't used them both. I think that charcoal is much better for binding the toxins like ammonia, like chemical toxins, and bentonite clay is better for binding. Bentonite clay and magnesium sulfate are best for binding and detoxing heavy metals.
Got you. Okay. Thank you. We love you, Auron. Have an amazing
All right.
fucking night.
I
You
love you
guys make
guys.
sure
Thank
you're
you so much
following
for having
Auron.
me.
Can we get some love for Auron in the chat?
I hope you guys have a wonderful night, and I will catch you on the flip side.
Bye. Campus. All right, guys, we're going to take 3 deep breaths, and then we have our own Holly who's coming on to talk to us, our own recovery coach. Who's excited? I'm fucking excited. Okay, so we're going to take 3 deep breaths, and then we're going to welcome Holly to the stage. Okay, let's take 3 deep breaths, y'all. Who's having, well, let's take 3 deep breaths first. That may have been 4, not sure. Okay, awesome sauceum. Holly, are you here, Miss Holly? Who's having fun tonight? Can I get a 1 in the chat or some fire emojis or some shit? Let's go. Excuse me.
There we go.
Holly!
Hello, 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 everyone. Let me get my camera on here. Ooh, that's bright.
I love it. You guys in the chat have been just amazing. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for supporting all the coaches that are coming up and just participating. Gambit, I hear you. How to get rid of, I think first surrounding yourself with, oh, we lost her. She'll be back. Surrounding yourself with safe people and then creating some boundaries. My bad. Here you go, Holly.
Hi, I got kicked out.
I'm sorry. I don't know what happened. We can't see you
I don't
still.
either. Yeah, I'm trying to turn my camera on and then I got kicked out. There we go.
Hi,
Hi.
beautiful. Hi. All right. I'm going to introduce you and then we will get started.
Okay.
Bum, bum. Hi, Stacy. Welcome back. Okay, we have Holly. She is a state certified peer support recovery coach. Let's go. She's dedicated to helping others on their recovery journey after transitioning from methadone to Suboxone. You might have to correct me on that.
Yep.
Okay. In 2024, she became certified to support others through the challenges of substance use recovery. She believes in the power of community, resilience, and support. Her own journey has included overcoming setbacks, which has taught her the importance of self-compassion and accountability. In 2005, she focused on her own growth, advocacy, and is helping others reclaim their lives. Fuck yes, Holly. Welcome in.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm so
Yes.
new to this that I'm very nervous.
You are golden, sweetheart. I hear you. And you know what? I still get nervous. So if we're not nervous, something's up. It's
Right?
okay. It just means
Hi,
that we're real and we're human. Unfortunately.
Right.
Can we get some love for Holly in the chat and just let her know that we see her and she's already fucking rocking it? Do you want to take 3 deep breaths with me, or did you already do those?
Oh, I did those, but we could do some more if you'd like.
All right, let's do 3 more and then we'll jump in.
Sure.
In this moment, we are safe. In this moment, we are safe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
So, how should I start?
Well, I can ask you questions, or if you got something you just want to say, then you just say it.
You could ask questions. I have like a bunch of notes that I wrote down just in case because I didn't want to forget anything. I think I over prepared, but that's part of my personality.
I get it, girl. I get it.
Well, I can just kind of maybe start from the beginning. Hi, my name's Holly. I am a recovering alcoholic, opiate, and heroin addict.
Uh-oh. Is it me? Did we lose Holly? Uh-oh. Can you see me now? Okay.
No idea what's going on.
I changed my internet, so hopefully that helps too.
I hope it's not the subject matter because I have to remember to watch some of my language because rug.
I haven't gotten any flags yet.
Okay, that's good. I'm sorry, I don't know why they keep kicking me out.
No, the universe is testing us. We got this. Hey, Holly, we got this. No little TikTok thing is going to stop us.
I'll keep coming back. I'll keep showing up if I need to.
That's right. Hi, baby girl. I see you.
So what? I forgot where I was talking about.
You were telling us about what you're doing, your journey, your story.
Right. Yes. Right. So I was an alcoholic from the ages of 22 to about 36 when I got pregnant with my daughter. Then I cut everything out when I was pregnant, but unfortunately I had a unplanned C-section, and from that C-section I was given opiates. So when I left the hospital, I left there an opiate addict, addicted to opiates. So that was I substituted the alcohol out for the opiates. So then I started off using the pills because they were prescribed to me, and those were pretty easy to obtain. But once my prescription got cut, then I had to go to the streets to get my supply, and that unfortunately became very expensive. And then I was introduced to heroin, and I was taught how to do all that. I was an intravenous user. I was fortunate enough not to get involved with fentanyl, because when I had entered rehab in 2019, fentanyl had just started coming onto the scene, so I didn't get fully enthralled in all of that yet. So I'm pretty thankful for that part of my journey, because I hear a lot of really horror stories about the fentanyl and the illicit supply that's out there right now, and it's very deadly. There is no rock bottom anymore. It's just death. There is no time to save or to wait for people to hit rock bottom, because there is no rock bottom anymore. It's just death. So that's what, we're trying to educate people more on, and harm reduction really comes into play. That's really a new concept to me since starting TikTok, was harm reduction, because I had never really heard of it until I joined TikTok. It's amazing what this app has provided for me in my journey, and all of the knowledge I've gained just from this last year being on here. It's been incredible. So yeah, I had like all this stuff I wanted to talk about, and now it's just completely gone.
No, you're good. I have questions, so you just, yeah.
I did want to talk about MAT, that's medicated assisted treatment, or medication assisted treatment. And I'm on MAT, which is Suboxone. I did start out, when I got out of rehab, I started out on the methadone program, and I was in that program for 4 years. But that lifestyle just wasn't fitting in with the way I was living. It just wasn't coherent anymore with my lifestyle, because you have to show up every day to dose until you can move up in those levels and get take homes. And so I decided to use the Bernice method, which is microdosing Suboxone while I'm still on the methadone. So they introduced the Suboxone into my system while I was tapering down off of the methadone. And I like the Suboxone so much better, because I don't have to show up to a clinic daily. I don't have to do counseling weekly. It's monthly. Everything is done online, which is wonderful. My urine tests are all done online, and it's just been a really good program for myself. And I try to encourage other people to look into it, because it's just been so beneficial to me. But
we had a question. Tara asked, what does harm reduction mean? That's a beautiful question.
Alrighty, here we go. I got it right here.
Hot now.
Okay, harm reduction and the dangers of the illicit drug supply. Let's see, harm reduction is about enabling. It's about keeping people alive. Fentanyl is now in nearly all street drugs, heroin, pressed pills, cocaine, meth, xylazine causes severe wounds and overdoses that Narcan can't fully reverse. Test your supplies, fentanyl test strips, xylazine test kits, and then carrying Narcan. And I have a Narcan right here that I wanted to show everybody that you would administer to somebody who's having an opiate overdose. It's a 1 dose. You just put it in one nostril and hit it once, and it'll inject the medicine into the system, and it takes a couple of minutes for it to kick in. This is one method of harm reduction, and then I also have an injectable naloxone, and you would administer this into either the fatty part of the arms or the thighs, but these ones aren't typically given out like they were years ago. I have a harder time finding these ones than the Narcan because this is just so much more convenient to have, because this would take steps. You know, you have to take this out,
Right.
fill the syringe, all that. So these are two methods of harm reduction. And then you can also get some test strips that will show you if your drug of choice is contaminated with xylazine or fentanyl. And I had a picture that I wanted to show of what the test strips look like, because I don't have test strips on me. But they're pretty easy. Let me turn this light off. But it almost looks like a pregnancy test. These test strips right here.
Oh, yeah.
So they would tell you if it's negative or positive, if it was a tainted
To be honest, I didn't
batch.
even know those existed. That's amazing. This is for
Yeah.
educational and informational purposes only.
Yeah.
I forgot. I just put that out there.
And I know for myself, I can get the Narcan, and I can get the test strips from my local community mental health board. And then we also happen to have a mobile harm reduction truck that goes around the city and gives out supplies to people who need it. And they give out other things too, like glass pipes. There's a lot of other things. I know that Allison's in here, and she's a harm reductionist herself, and she knows a lot about harm reduction. So if she could help me out, she could tell you a lot more than I can about that. But I'm just getting into it. I'd like to get my feet on the ground and get out there and help if I could, but I'd prefer somebody to go with me, because I don't think it would be great for me just to go out there on my own.
Has that helped you in your journey?
Oh yeah, I've been revived with Narcan before when I overdosed. A proud
So
moment.
how do you feel? How do you feel about the harm reduction program? Like, do you feel like it's helpful? Do you feel like...
Well, I think it's extremely helpful. It's getting the word out, and it's getting this medicine out, life-saving medicine that people need. I mean, I have one in the car. I carry it everywhere I go, because you never know what you're going to run into on the street. So yeah, I heavily believe in carrying these, and I know a lot of people in my community say the same thing. You know, carry Narcan. Always have Narcan on you, because you never know.
We have some in our vehicles, yes.
Awesome. Oh, that's good to know. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was,
Tara said
I'm
so
sorry.
much stigma around MAT. Could you touch a little bit more on that? The stigma around it?
Oh, yeah. Here, I got 3 things here for you that I looked up today about debunking MAT. It said debunking the myths about MAT. Number 1, it says you're just trading one drug for another. The fact is MAT doesn't create a high like illicit A high, like illicit opiates, it stabilizes your brain chemistry. The fact is, people on MAT can live a normal, functional lives. The second myth is MAT isn't real recovery. The fact is, recovery is about progress, healing, and stability, not just abstinence. And another fact is many people in long-term recovery stay on MAT for years, even decades. And then the third myth is MAT should only be used short term, when in reality there is no one-size-fits-all timeline for MAT. Research shows that long-term use of medications like Suboxone or Methadone significantly reduces overdose risks and improves retention in treatment. Some people may need MAT for months, while others benefit from lifelong treatment. The goal is stability and improved well-being, not rushing to taper off. Would you like to include any? That's all I have for that, for debunking the myth.
Is it Fifi in the chat? I was going to kind of go somewhere similar with that. Is, do you feel that harm reduction really is also so helpful because it's saying, I see you and I'm loving you where you are and I'm creating a safe place for you and I'm not asking you to just be something you're not, to change, to
right. And that's what the recovery coaches do. That's what we do. We meet you where you are at, and we try to guide you to where you want to go. And we try to give you as much information as we possibly can about recovery and the different methods that are available. And it's not just AA or NA or abstinence. There's methadone, Suboxone, Brixadi, a Sublocade shot, monthly shots. There's the Bernice method, the St. Clair method, which is for alcoholism. There are so many modalities available for recovery that I feel passionate to get the word out, because I didn't even know about these recovery modalities a year ago. It's just incredible how far they've come in this particular area. People do not have to suffer and go through withdrawals anymore. You don't have to. If you choose to, well, that's beyond me. I don't understand why you would put yourself through that misery. But people, I am surprised in some of my recovery groups how many people are not familiar with MAT at all, and it stuns me. And it's like, please let me tell you, let me show you. It's wonderful. It's a great program, and the statistics. It's the golden standard of recovery. I have that here too somewhere. We always say
if you have topics, you go ahead. I do have questions, and I think there's a lot of questions coming through too. But
here we go. MAT is the golden standard, backed by science. MAT cuts the risk of opiate overdose death by 50%. That's by the National Institute on Drug Abuse, 2023. MAT reduces illicit opiate use by 76% compared to a placebo or no treatment. SAMHSA, 2022. Over 90% of people who try to quit opiates without MAT relapse within a year. Less than 5% of people who attempt abstinence-only recovery from opiates stay sober long. I have to go back. Oh shit, where was I? Long term. Crap. I'm not very organized. I apologize.
You're doing great, Holly.
From opiates staying long term. Yeah. Less than 5% of people who choose abstinence will relapse within a year. So, yeah. You don't have to do abstinence.
What did it do for your family?
What?
How did it help you in your journey, in your recovery? Like, what what did it provide for you?
The Suboxone, the MAT, it provided. When I was on methadone, I was stagnant in my recovery. I was not progressing. I put myself in a corner and became a hermit. And I didn't like that. I had to do something more. I was meant for more than just sitting around doing nothing. And then once I found TikTok, it's like this whole frickin' world opened up to me, and it's just been one accomplishment after another, and learning all of these new modalities and new terms and mental health and how it all ties in together. And I always thought that my substance use disorder was a disease, but now I'm learning that it is more trauma based, and I used it to help me cope a trauma. That was my first husband. I was in a domestic violence relationship, and I didn't receive the proper care, so I turned to substances to deal with that. So it's helped me grow, and it's made me realize that I want to teach, and I want to expand my knowledge to others, because everything that I have learned from other people in recovery, not from therapists or counselors. Mostly what I have learned has been from other people who are addicts. And I take what they tell me and say to me to heart, because they've been there, they've felt what I have felt. They've experienced what I have experienced, and I just take a lot more stock in somebody who's lived the life than somebody who just read a book and got a paper degree. So that's my goal.
That's why you're going to help so many people, because your authenticity and your honesty about your journey, that's going to resonate, and that's what people need. It's huge. What advice would you give someone who's experienced a slip up or a struggle, that is struggling with shame or self-judgment?
I love this question, because you know what's recently happened with me, and you can't isolate. You can't set up tent there. You can't live there. There's a difference, in my opinion, there's a difference between a relapse and a slip up. To me, a relapse would be something that lasts for weeks, months, longer. A slip up to me is a day or two. It's not something that I'm gonna stay and live in for the remainder of my days. I would hope not. But my advice would be to find that person, your person that you can tell anything to, a confidant, a counselor, therapist, a mentor, a coach, somebody you trust, and just even getting it off of, well, in my case, getting it off my chest was a huge relief of, it was a relief of that shame, that guilt, that hypocrisy that I was feeling. So I punished myself enough that nobody else could do any worse to me than I had already done to myself. So yeah, my advice is community, because that's growth. That's where I found my growth and my support, and in a way, like a family that I never had. So yeah, it's been really good. It's been a really good experience. I never thought in a million years I would ever accomplish anything like this. I mean, I had dedicated myself to being just a professional addict. I thought that is how I was going to be leaving this earth. But Spirit had something better planned for me. Yeah.
Now we're all emotional.
Right. I had to really deconstruct a lot of my stuff too, because it's stuff we're all taught. So I had to deconstruct everything, religion, everything, the way my daily life. I had to come up with a new routine. I had to learn to bathe, to eat, to dress myself. I had to relearn how to live in every which way, shape, and form, because I was never taught that. So now I'm teaching myself this, and community is really helping me learn a lot of things, and it's also helping me be a better mother to my daughter. Because what I didn't receive in my childhood, I'm trying to supply her with that. Mm. And you've helped me too with that in my relationship with her, so I'll be forever grateful for that, but you already know that.
How would you define community, Holly? Or what does community mean to you?
Love, unconditional love. Do you remember when you let me get mad at you? Do you remember when you let me just be pissed at you? And you stuck around? I think I called you a bitch. I think I called you a couple of things, and it didn't faze you. And I'd never had that before. And in all the years of my therapy, professional therapists, they've never once done what you've done for me. And they've never sat with me and showed me how to move through those emotions that I didn't know how to fucking deal with before. So, thank you for that.
You're welcome, and I see that in you. And that's why I know that you're going to help so many people, because you're going to be able to provide that for people, because that's all people want, right?
I didn't want to get emotional, but
Sorry. Oh shit! That should have been a disclaimer before we talked then.
But it's good. I never thought recovery could be good. When I heard people in early recovery, when I heard people talk about how wonderful it is, I'd be, yeah, bullshit. You're just blowing smoke up my ass. This is all crap. But no, when you surrender and start doing that fucking work, that inner work, that shadow work, oh my God. You grow. I've grown. There's just so much growing to do. I got it out because we were talking about it earlier. So. But yeah, that's another thing too that I would give advice on is get yourself into some sort of counseling therapy and do that inner work, because the journey truly begins within. Sounds cliche, but it's true.
I didn't mean to derail you if you had other topics you wanted to hit on. I just had a lot of questions. I was excited.
I like the questions. I appreciate them.
Okay. So what are some of the biggest challenges that people face when transitioning between recovery programs, and how can you help them navigate those changes?
What do you mean, like coming off of the MHE?
Or say like they're coming out of AA or whatever type of recovery. There's lots of different transitions that they go through, or programs. And
well, I can't really what's the word I'm looking for? I would just give my experience with AA and NA and just tell them my story because it wasn't the best experience. Because at the time, that's all I thought that was available, and it's not true. I'm not a big NAAA fan. I think it's a very outdated modality. It's like 100-year-old book that it doesn't really hold a lot in today's society, I believe. I'm not a really good one to talk about it, other than the fact is I didn't like it because I wasn't allowed to ask questions, and I learned by asking questions. So that was a big turnoff for me.
That's huge. Can you say that again about that?
Yeah, when you're in the group and you're talking, you're not allowed to ask questions. You just talk. You just say, "Hi, I'm Holly. I'm an alcoholic, blah, 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 blah." And you just talk. You're not allowed to ask questions, and I didn't like that because I wasn't learning anything. And then when I tried to find a sponsor, nobody was willing to take me on. And it's like, what the hell? I'm trying to get help here, and nobody's helping me. So it was just a big turnoff for me. I learned about the methadone program when I went into rehab, because they had all the resources there available to me, and they had the plan all set up for me once I left, and yeah, it's a good program. It's helped a lot of people, and it's still helping quite a few people. It just wasn't for my lifestyle anymore. But that's okay.
No, yeah, thank you for sharing your experience. I know that there's a lot of other people that feel that way, but like you said, they don't even know of the other options. So if there is somebody out there that, is hesitant to reach out for support or peer support, what would you say to encourage them to take that first step?
What have you got to lose? I mean, you have to want that change. It starts within. You have to want, because what you're doing isn't working, so let's try something different. Why not just give it a shot? You don't have to commit to it for the rest of your life, but at least experiment, try, learn, grow. Gather as much knowledge as you possibly can and make an informed decision. And that's where I would like to come in and help guide you in that direction any way I can to help find the right path for you. Because it's not just one way.
Oh, I love that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Holly, you're doing amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're doing amazing.
And
Does anybody have questions?
I did
want. No, go ahead. And then people could.
I did want to say too that since I've gotten sober or into recovery, I'm in recovery. I'm not there's a debate about that. I am in recovery because I'm an MAT. If I was didn't take anything then. But anyway, shoot, where was I going with that? I did have a point there, but I can't remember the darn brain. Crud.
Let's take a deep breath.
Yeah.
Let's take a deep breath, because I felt like we were supposed to do that anyway, and that'll give a moment to and I'll just say, you were saying that since you've been in recovery, that's how you started the sentence. So we'll take a deep breath and then see if it comes to you.
Oh boy. Tissue. Excuse me.
No, you're good.
Yeah, I mean, since being in recovery, the connections I've been able to make have just been so life-changing, and the friends that I've been able to meet have been incredible. And I'm sponsoring my first sponsoree, and it's going wonderful. I love the fact that she chose me. It was such a good feeling, and just trying to be that example for others that it's possible. Just recovery is possible. I just I get it's so sad when I think about so many people out there who are still struggling and fighting, and they don't have to if they don't want to anymore.
Mm. What would you say excites you the most about the next chapter in your recovery journey and professional growth?
Getting to know more people, making those connections, networking, growing a community. I think it's great. Yeah, it's just really, it just comes down to helping other people. That's where I feel led to do, is just help as much as I know how. Oh, that's what I remembered now. Since I got into recovery, I have my body has changed. Um, I've lost over 120 pounds in the last 5 years. My skin's all loose now. I just had my teeth removed about a year ago, and I'm going to be getting dentures. So it's like I'm transforming into who I was meant to be. It's like my inner side is coming out finally, and it's I've never had this body before as an adult. I've always been obese and overweight, and it's an incredible feeling. I've never felt so healthy before, and I I hear a lot of people gain weight when they get into recovery, and I had the complete opposite. I don't talk about it much because I don't want people to think I'm bragging, or I don't like talking about myself a lot anyway, so.
Well, I think this is a
Yeah.
huge part too, because that people don't talk about maybe is recovery is amazing. That's just one piece of it. You get your life.
Yeah. Movement. It was just moving, because when I was a heroin addict, all you do is just basically a couch rot, and you eat sugar and drink pop and crap, and you don't do anything but nod off. So you're not doing much of any activities except, So just movement, incorporating a little bit of movement into my routine helped bring the weight off. So, yeah.
And I think, again, I think that's a huge piece, is that what you can gain from it, and all of what you're saying are things that people also want to feel that they probably never thought were possible.
Right. I started doing yoga. I never thought I would do yoga. That breath, the box breathing, I do that on occasion when I'm really anxious. And then just finding that spiritual side of it, because I had to deconstruct my religion, because that was, yeah. But and just finding solace in that spiritual side has really, yeah, it's helped. It's helped shape me, I guess.
What would you say your biggest challenge in your journey has been?
I think right now it's my family, my parents. I haven't spoken to my parents since Thanksgiving, and I really need to dive deeper into that and that's been my challenge right now. Is I need to repair that relationship. But yeah.
And I know that I felt that in my chest. I felt it so heavy, and I'm holding space for you, sweetheart. That's no small thing.
Yeah.
And actually, that's a great point. Would you say that connections, while it is one of the most important aspects of recovery, it can also be one of the toughest because it could be really big triggers?
Yeah.
Mm.
That was what I wasn't strong enough to face my activators. So I had that slip up.
What would you say to somebody else in that situation? Because I mean, recovery or not, I think we've all been in that situation. But especially people who are in recovery, I know that can be fucking tough.
Well, yeah, because I isolated for a good week. I was just, it was not a good time. But I know what it is. I know what it was, and I need to work on what that is. And without going too much into it, it's just something that I need to. Yeah.
That's huge that you recognize that, though. I mean, that's so huge.
Yeah. Well, they're not the ones that forced anything down my throat. I chose to do that, and I got to figure out why. So yeah. Hi, Michelle. I'm so happy that all these people came in to say hi. That's so cool.
Yes, you got lots of support, and everybody is just cheering you on. And all I see is she's amazing, such a strong woman, and beautiful comments.
Thank you.
I have one more question. I don't know if anybody else has questions in the chat. How would you say, what is one of the things that, hold on, let me see how I want to phrase the question. How do you rebuild your trust with yourself after addiction?
I have to give myself more grace. Learning to give myself grace. Because aren't we all our own worst critics? Because there is nothing that anybody can say or do to me that I haven't already said and done to myself. So.
Isn't that the truth?
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, grace. Giving myself more grace. And I hear that word a lot throughout our community. We talk about it quite often, giving ourselves grace, because we don't. It's overlooked. We give it so easily to others, but we don't do it to ourselves.
Yeah, the purpose-driven coach yesterday kind of called us out with that. I thought about that, and he was like, when you give it to others, but you don't give it to yourself, it's not true and real. And I was like, oh, shit.
Right. Well, because it's like you can't pour from an empty cup. You have to fill yourself up first before you can give it away. So, yeah. I've been working on that this week, trying to fill up my cup and doing some self-care, because I don't know if I told you this, but this last month I was having some heart palpitations. I ended up going into the emergency room, and then I had to go to a cardiologist, and basically I have to start watching my intake of like caffeine and my food, things like it's another lifestyle change, but if you don't take care of yourself, your body's going to tell you something's up. And that's what my body was doing. So that's what I've been doing for the last couple of weeks, is really paying attention to, like, I'm ton of water. I'm doing tons of water now and just paying more attention to that. Because I want to be around a lot longer for my daughter. She's only 11 years old, and I'm going to be 49 this year. I'd like to see her graduate, you know?
Yeah, that's huge. Kendra said, and you're listening to your body.
Yes. Thanks, Allison.
And
Allison's my partner, by the way. Fifi, XOXO, her name. Yeah, we host a weekly All Pathways to Recovery meeting on Tuesday nights at 8 o'clock Eastern, if anyone's ever interested.
Awesome. I followed her.
Awesome. Thank you for allowing
said
me this
self-care.
time. Yes.
Fuck yeah. I think that that's so huge, and especially I've heard you talk about it a little bit, and you mentioned it tonight, is changing up your routine and how important that is, especially in recovery, doing new things. And so, like, what does that look like? Could you
have to experiment
it a little bit?
You have to. You have to experiment, like coloring, journaling, art, walking, exercise, cooking. You have to find what interests you. Literally, it's learning how to relive. Because for so many years, my interest was only alcohol or drugs. That was it. That was my identity. It's not my identity anymore.
That's huge. Holly, you are fucking amazing.
Oh, thank you.
And we love and appreciate you and your knowledge, your expertise, and your experience.
Thank you. Thank you, Amber, for allowing me to do this and
we are
seeing me and bringing me on board with all of this, because I have no words. I nothing like this has ever happened to me. I just feel so special. So I can't thank you enough.
Yes, you are special.
Thank you.
Yes. That's the beautiful thing, and it is, I have to say something about that word special, because it came up twice this week. And my husband and I have shifted some things, and I was telling my mom, I'm going to get emotional now, is that, I don't know, I felt so special, but I felt almost like it was, you're not supposed to feel special because we're adults, like that's weird. What? It is okay to feel special, because we are all special, and we can sit in our specialness, and we can sing it from the mountaintops, and we can yell it, because we are special, and it is okay to feel special, and it is healthy and beautiful and human to feel special.
And it's healthy to talk about yourself too.
Yes, it is. It is. And that's one of the reasons that I love bringing people on here, is because it is tough to talk about ourselves. And really, that's what we're doing, is we're like, hey, this is me. This is what I do here. We're not taught how to do that. It's crazy.
It's like we're just kind of all learning together, which I like too.
Yes, we're all just really tall children.
I accept that, sure.
Except for we need to learn how to play more and have fun. So
yeah. But yeah, thank you again. This was really nice. I built it all up in my head, of course, but you make it so easy and effortless, so I really shouldn't have worried as much as I did.
It's okay. It'll probably happen for the next 3 years, and then you won't worry anymore. I'm just coming out of that stage. Jess has helped me a lot.
Oh, that's great though, and it shows.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
It does.
And we're always all doing work. You guys, let's give some love for Holly, please. Holly is a peer recovery coach. She is also in the Your Connection Academy directory for now. You guys could go check her out. Her list is all there, what she does, what she offers. But Holly, please tell us where people can find you. Tell us what you offer.
Oh, okay. You can find me on the Connection Academy hub, right? I'm there. Is that what? Yeah, there.
Yep.
And then you can also DM me here on TikTok, Holly. It's just Holly C, I believe. And that's it. Those are really the only two platforms I use right now. I don't want to give up my phone number, but yeah.
No, that's perfect. That's good. Those are the places. Yeah. You go check her out, ask her questions. What I love about Holly is that she is extremely authentic and has been there and will sit with you wherever you are.
Yeah, because I would want somebody to do the same for me. And they have, so. All right. Well, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Can we get some love for Holly in the chat? Unless we already did that and I missed it. My bad. Thank you, Holly.
Thank you, Amber. Are you doing another one tomorrow night, or is this it?
No, we are taking a break, but I do have some other coaches lining up, which I'm super excited about. So we will be having more of these. And
good.
Yeah, I'm so excited. But none this week and none next week. So we get to take a breather.
Oh, I'm just going through the, thank you guys. That's so sweet. Are they they're more coaches, you said, or are they mentors? Do you have any mentors on the list yet?
I call them all coaches unless they ask differently.
Gotcha.
Pretty much coaches, healers, teachers. I group them into one. Shamans. They help people.
Cool.
All right, sweetheart. I'm going to put you down in the chat. Thank you. Okay. You killed it.
Thank you. Bye, everybody. Thank you for coming and hanging out with me.
Woo! That was amazing. Can I get a 1 in the chat if you had an amazing night and you got something from this week? Did you get anything from this week? Also, if you're a coach and you would love to come talk on this platform to our community, message me. Send me a message here on TikTok. You can go to my link tree. Excuse me, my link tree. If you are wanting to learn and grow more, you want to work with a coach, I am having, my goal this year is to create 500 breakthroughs for people. So it's a free 30-minute breakthrough call, and you can go in the link tree and schedule that. Also, you can sign up to be a part of the Your Connection Academy, and you can check out all of these coaches that have been on here tonight, everything that they offer, and connect with them. Also, Jordan just had her breakthrough call, and so you can ask her about it directly, but I think she had an amazing time. She said breakthrough calls are so worth it. Thank you guys. You're amazing. And today is Thursday. I will see you guys Monday. And oh shoot. Did I say we're playing a game? I think we're playing a game. And thanks to Where are we? Thanks to Frosty. Hold on. Our next discussion on Mental Monday. Mom, where did I put it? What? Disappointment. We're going to talk about disappointment. We are going to talk about disappointment at the next Mental Monday. But next week, I think we're going to play some games. We need to have some fun. Oh, yes, the bra strap. Yes, disappointment. Okay. Yes, but next week we're going to have some fun and we're just going to laugh and connect because healing can be fun too. Healing can be fun too. All right, guys. Thank you. Thank you to my mods, Holly, Tara, and can we give a shout out to our brand new mod, Jordan, in the chat? The mods are fucking fire. You guys are amazing. I appreciate you. I couldn't do this without you. Thank you. And thank you to everybody in the chat for your energy, for participating, for being here, spending your time with us. We don't take that lightly. Love you guys and have an amazing fucking night.